Zabadazoo. Find Katie's on breaks before she dies. 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 Zibbity, zabadi, zabadi zoo. Zibbity, zabadi, zabadi zoo. We gotta find a way into the maintenance room. Zibbity, zabadi, zabadi zoo. Zibbity, zabadi, zabadi zoo. We gotta find a way into the maintenance room. Cool, fire exit. Oh shit, a sledgehammer! Sledgehammer! Oh yeah! Sledgehammer! Sledgehammer! Oh yeah! Sledgehammer! 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 I'm coming for you. Oh yeah. Zabadazoo. The soothing sounds of Barry White during the zombie apocalypse. The rain is very heavy. Heaviest of rain. Yes, the rain has lots of mass and weight and volume. The rain is very heavy. Heaviest of rain. Yes, the rain has lots of mass and weight. The rain is very heavy. Heaviest of rain. Yes, the rain has lots of mass and weight. The rain is very heavy. Heaviest of rain. Yes, the rain has lots of mass and weight and volume. The rain is very heavy. Heaviest of rain. Yes, the rain has lots of mass and weight. The rain is very heavy. Heaviest of rain. Yes, the rain has lots of mass and weight. The rain is very heavy. Heaviest of rain. Yes, the rain has lots of mass and weight. The rain is very heavy. Heaviest of rain. Yes, the rain has lots of mass and weight and volume. The rain is very heavy, heaviest of rain. Yes, the rain has lots of mass and waves 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 of mass. The rain is very heavy, heaviest of rain. Yes, the rain has lots of mass and weight. The rain is very heavy, heaviest of rain. Yes, the rain has lots of mass and weight. The rain is very heavy, heaviest of rain. Yes, the rain has lots of mass and weight. The rain is very heavy, heaviest of rain. Yes, the rain has lots of mass and weight. The rain is very heavy, heaviest of rain. Yes, the
happened to the camera?
Oh, no.
Boy, we already got technical difficulties. What's up, everyone?
Well, it wouldn't be a DSP show without technical difficulties, would it?
That's correct. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Smark Guys. They tried to stop us. They did everything they possibly could to make sure we could not bring you wrestling commentary this week. But despite all their efforts, we are here a day late and $1 short, but we're still here, ready to talk about pro wrestling. I'm DSP, and with me, as always, is Ashton. How are you this week, Chad?
Buddy, it's Benoit, boys, episode 3. Let's go! Chris Benoit, my sexy baby, innocent until proven guilty. Benoit, let's go, Benoit, bro.
I've never heard that one before.
No, I'm going to introduce it as the theme song next week, Phil. Get ready. It's the Chris Benoit song there, buddy. Buddy, the A-logs there, the detractors out there. These detractors are like the new Al-Qaeda, Phil. They're like ISIS.
It's insane.
Sabotaging the infrastructure of the United States of America. They're out to get you, Phil. It's like Osama bin Duty fucking out here, the fucking caliphate, and they're ordering terrorist attacks to shut down your internet, Phil.
I can't
believe this stuff, Phil.
This is so insane. By the way, again, people are saying your mic is low, which makes no sense because it doesn't look low in my setup, so I'm making it louder right now.
Is it scuffed as fuck?
This is
tough.
It's all right.
They're saying they don't want the shouting. You're gonna get shouting, damn it. I'm gonna keep yelling the entire fucking show there.
Now it's worse, they're saying.
It's even worse. Welcome to the Dark Side Phil Technical Fail Hour. Basically every stream over on the Phil channel these days, technical difficulties, this and that.
I wonder. Okay, hold on. Maybe it's spatial. I think I know what it is because I've been doing surround sound.
I'm gonna keep moving away from the mic. It's gonna be great.
Okay, I think I did it. Let's see if that worked. Go ahead, talk again. Oh, now I can't hear him at all. Now he's muted. Now I can't hear him at all. Okay, hold on. I guess that didn't work. Now he's muted for some reason. Figure that one out. Is he back? I don't even know what happened. I literally don't know what happened, guys. No one can hear him, right? He's muted now. What the hell happened? Huh. And I didn't mute him or anything. What the hell? Just leave him on mute? No, that would be pretty messed up to leave on. What the hell? I don't know. I have no clue. I thought okay, so here's my rationale. You guys are saying that he sounds like he's in a tin can. I think that's because I had surround sound on via Windows. So I turned it off. And when I turned it off, it muted him. How is that even possible? Like, why would it completely mute him? Because I turned off surround sound. Like, what the hell is going on? And why would it fuck up like that? So, man, and let's see. So the funny part is Discord is working, as you guys can see. Discord is working. The audio seems to be working. The only thing I can think of is that basically Discord is using a different audio output now for some bizarre reason, which I don't understand. So what I got to do, all right, I got to fuck with this now. What a great show, huh? I shouldn't have touched it. I should have just left it alone is what I should have done. Let me just hide the Discord window so I can go into Discord and see if I can figure out what happened to the audio. Look at poor PPP. He's very upset with me. He's very upset. So there's the output. There's the input. This should be working. Testing my mic. Okay, that's working. What the hell happened? I might have to close and open Discord again. This is a massive improvement having him quiet. I mean, it's going to be pretty boring just having one person doing the show. The whole idea was to have two people doing the show. And I have no clue. I really have no clue why it muted him. I can't figure. It has to be a Discord thing because he's talking through Discord. And it's showing that Discord is working. So I have no idea why we can't hear him. He went completely mute. He's still there, by the way. I got the different page open. Hold on. Now Jasper's on me. It's just making things even worse, more compounded and worse. Let's see. We go back to the video. Now the call's ended. Right? It looks like the call's ended. He's gone. I might have to restart the call is what I think. I might have to call him again. Here's what we'll do. I'll try to call him back and see if we can get him back on the line. I don't know what happened. Everything was working fine, perfectly fine. And then it just cut off his audio completely. Very bizarre. Let me see if we can get it back working again. Let me call again. We had it working. Video call. Oh, there you are.
Is it? Can you hear me, or is it better?
That had to be an OBS, or not OBS. That had to be a Discord issue because now you're working just because I restarted the call. So that's really stupid. All right. Well,
I don't know, folks. Welcome to the technical support issue. Now, Phil, you told me that you hired a private investigator to get to the bottom of this situation. Yeah. And you've discovered who is the mastermind behind the Comcast attack, Phil.
Well, I mean, we've got literally these people are climbing the telephone poles to shut me down and stop me from broadcasting at this point, okay? First, we had the inside worker at Comcast who literally was a Comcast employee from the inside changing my router settings and resetting the router. We got him fired a year and a half ago. But now we actually have people physically climbing the fucking poles, all right? So, yes, I researched this. I put a lot of time and effort into it in the last 24 hours, and I think you're all about to be shocked, all right? Because, a lot of people said they thought, it's got to be a detractor, right? It's probably Doody Streams. Miss Doody slid his turdy body up the fucking pole and was fucking with the wires. Or maybe it was like one of the restreamers, like maybe it was Tevin or Raw Phil or someone like that, right? But ladies and gentlemen, wait till you see what we discovered. This is it. This is the culprit who shut down my internet yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the president of AEW Wrestling, Tony Khan.
It was Tony all along, Phil. The author of all your P's joined the detractors, Phil. He's writing the shows bad on purpose just to fuck with you, Phil, and force you to watch this garbage slop, buddy.
He was so afraid.
How dare Tony do this?
So afraid that we were going to do commentary on AEW this week, and he knows the insane amount of reach and influence we have on the internet wrestling community that he had to delay, or at least try to delay us, but we will not be deterred. Today we are talking AEW, and it's going to be an interesting endeavor, to say the least. It's going to be first time I've seen AEW ever, and it was pretty eye-opening, to say the very least, but very reminiscent of things from past times. So, we'll get to that for sure.
Well, they say that seems odd.
Uh-oh. Now your microphone is going out. Your microphone is actually going out when you talk too loud, and I don't know what's up with that. What's going on? You guys think he was picking up his webcam mic and not his actual microphone? Now there's two of me again. Oh, really? You guys are saying this might be a PPP thing on his end? Oh. That his mic blowing out is definitely his mic. For sure. I don't know. I can make him louder again. I had him at max volume, but it was showing that he was going into the red on my OBS, so I put him down a little bit. But yeah, maybe we have to restart another call. His Discord was messing up last night on the casino too. Oh wow, I wonder what's going on with his equipment. All right, hold on. Let me. I swear we'll get it working at some point. It may just be a very long. Good thing I have nothing else to do today. Let's see here. Yeah, he's gone again. I guess we'll have to restart the call a third time. It's not just volume, it's quality. He's all unbalanced. No mid and upper range at all, really. He's kind of washed out. The funny part is we talked for like a half an hour before the show.
All right.
And it's fine.
Is it any better now, or is it still fucked up?
It's not cutting out for me. So that's at least an improvement that it's not cutting out.
It's a disaster there, folks. Well, guys, just like on other Phil streams, we're doing tech support on your time and on your dime there, brother. So,
wow.
It's the exact same.
They're saying it seems like it's not picking up your microphone. It's actually using a webcam mic on your end. And because of that, the audio sounds awful.
I don't know. Because it like when I go into the Discord settings there, brother, and I go into voice and video, it says microphone 3, Shure M7.
So that should be correct then, yeah.
It should be the Shure. Like if I switch to this mic, is it any different? Is it any better? Or is it worse?
That sounds the same to me. I don't even think it's changed.
You see what I mean? It's the exact same.
Yeah.
So I don't know there. It's gonna be a tough one today, folks. It's a disaster stream.
Okay, now it changed and it's awful. It just changed
it's
right
terrible
now.
There. So now we changed it to this one.
Now it's good.
And it's slightly better.
That's much better for me.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Get ready for the dog shit wrestling stream there.
We might not get to wrestling at this rate.
We're the champs of technical issues there. Scuffed audio and tech is
wait a minute.
On the Boomer Phil stream.
Hold on. PPP, turn around. Is Tony Khan behind you fucking with your microphone right now?
He's right there, Phil. He's right there behind me, buddy. Oh, no.
He's stepping on the wires.
Tardsky,
Fuck this.
Can you help us? We got to call Tardsky to set up the fucking OBS, buddy. This is grim. This is grim, chat. It's tough out there. Oh, we're wrestling with this equipment.
Yeah.
We're wrestling with this equipment. I don't know. I guess that's about as good as it's going to get, folks.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm looking. Oh, wow. Now your audio is desynced from the video. Your audio has been desynced from your video.
Yes! We're in the zone of failure there. Oh, no.
I can't believe it.
They're going to clip this. Phil, the detractors are going to clip this epic fail. What are we going to do, Phil? What are we going to do?
Oh my God,
over, buddy! I think it's game over.
I think it's when you change the mic to the other one, the shitty one, and then back. I think it fucked the sync up. Maybe if you jumped out and it back in again, it would fix it.
Let's once again take a 2-minute detour. Let's get some tips.
We got some.
Let's get some subs.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. We got some support. Let's do some shout outs, actually. First of all, IDK Anymore did a $10 super chat and said, AEW will be shut down soon enough. I can't wait to watch Twitter meltdown and the IWC Smarks cry. Well, we're going to talk about it. And my initial impressions are not very good, although I wasn't completely turned off by it. I definitely wasn't really like compared to what WWE is doing today. It's like night and freaking day. It really is. And we'll get to that. We got 10 gifted subs over on Kick from Rare Tricks. Thank you to Rare Tricks for 10 subs over on Kick. I appreciate that very much. Well, we appreciate that very much. This is our show. That gets us a nice big jump of support up to $60 so far. Thank you so much, Rare Tricks. There's actually a couple of tips that have come in that I want to shout out as well. So we've got, let's see here. So there was a couple of tips that actually came in from Slayer, and Slayer wanted to talk on the show yesterday, but of course the show didn't happen. So I saved the tips for today, and they'll count towards today's Smart Guys goals because we've kind of messed up to not count them. Oh, I know he's gone. I think he's messing with his stuff again. I think what I might have to do is call him a third time here. and see if we can get him to sync this time. I have no clue what's going on his end technically. I seriously thought that was my fault. I thought I fucked the whole show up, and then come to find out it's actually his stuff that's messed up. So here we go.
Right, we're back on the Stuff Shitty Wrestling Show with Phil.
We're synced. Definitely synced.
I put the fucking Tardsky signal in the sky there, but I don't think he's coming to save the tech of this disaster show, Phil.
I think we're all right.
I think it's game over, buddy.
I think people just, maybe they're not used to your mic. Like, your mic to me sounds kind of how it does on Kino Casino. So I don't know why they're complaining.
I think they're all just detractors, Phil, that are fibbing to us. And I think my audio is pristine and clean, Phil. I don't think there's a problem with it at all. I definitely don't sound like I'm in a submarine tin can underwater, buddy.
You did with that other mic, but now this sounds fine to me. So I think we're good. The audio levels look good in OBS.
It's totally fine, bro. Just don't worry. We're gonna persist with this shit. Listen, here's the key. Just unplug your headphones. It'll sound great. If you just unplug your headphones and listen to it like a normal person, it'll be totally fine.
Wow.
Don't worry. As a matter of fact, it's you with the scuffed audio detractors. As a matter of fact, the show that's fucked up.
I legit wonder.
Larry for $20 says Tony Khan deserves everything he gets. He destroyed Ring of Honor in New Japan. Views in the trash for Max. He and Jericho have an ongoing relationship where there was some sucking and fucking going on. Some Vince McMahon, Shawn Michaels, Sodom and Gomorrah 1997 shit. Unbelievable stuff. Meltzer kissed Tony's lips there. Big ups, Lipstick Larry. Let's get some support. Phil missed out on a whole day of streaming yesterday, guys.
Because of Tony Khan, that piece of shit.
It was Tony Khan, that motherfucker. Now, Phil, I'm concerned, brother. We gotta have an intervention. I'm being told by all the detractors, all the haters, that you've become a foot fetish OnlyFans model.
That's correct.
I've been told you're raising money to show your feet on the show. $75 to show your feet. What's going on, Phil?
That's right. In fact, right now, when we hit 100, I will show you my feet for the first time of the show. A brand new pair of socks I'm wearing today. That's correct.
Oh, my God.
That's right.
Phil. No, but Phil, this is demented, Phil. This is some sick stuff, Phil, isn't it? How low are you going to go, Phil? Is there no depths to which you won't stoop to scam these people now, Phil? Really?
Listen,
really,
you don't understand. You're behind the times. This is what the people want in 2025. This is the kind of content that in fact, someone said for $250, I should write their name on my foot. What do you think about that? In a marker or something?
Is this what it's come to, Phil? You miss one day of work and you're writing people's names on your feet with Sharpie?
Yeah.
That what it's...
That is the new generation of content creation. No one wants opinions. No one wants gameplay. No one wants drama. They just want to see appendages. Many, many appendages. I mean, look at me. I'm completely covered up. So, every little bit, you get a little bit more. That's how it works.
Okay, so it's all true. All of it.
Of course.
Did the OnlyFans open? How much is it a month?
OnlyFans, they take too much of a cut. Fuck OnlyFans. You just do it right here and you get some subs and then you get a bigger cut on Kick. That's how you do it, man.
This grift is beyond shameless, Phil. Phil looked into the OnlyFans cut. What are you going to Fansly, Phil? You're taking your talents to Fansly for your foot content, aren't you, buddy? Is this really what it's come to?
In fact, I'm looking into an actual 100% foot fetish site. Just that is the whole focus of the site, and I think that's going to work the best because then you got the specialty viewers who are there just for that, and then you can really get the maximum milking out of the audience. The pignosis, right? Remember, it worked last week. Now imagine what I can do with the pignosis with my feet. I mean, that is the new market.
So this is full-on mask-off financial domination, foot dom, Phil. This is the world that we're living in 2025.
That's right.
The script writers are on fucking coke, buddy. The script writers need to lay off the coke and the cigarettes, man. They need to just get drunk. Like, this is insane, Phil. What is going on?
Hey, all right. Trump is our president again, so, I mean, here we go.
Yeah, I guess so, Phil. Okay, the next question, okay. I hear that you have only one pair of socks, Phil.
Oh, I would listen, the other day, I did something unprecedented. Okay, I showed a different angle of my studio, and people freaked the hell out. And the reason they freaked out is because when I showed this angle, it actually exposed my feet to the world.
So you're telling me you have a dedicated foot cam now?
Yes.
To scam them.
That's correct. It is the foot cam where you can now see my feet under the desk. You can see them. You see? Here you go. Look at this. So.
Phil! What are we doing, Phil? This is depraved, Phil. This is degeneracy. Phil, Phil!
There you go.
Phil!
So, the thing was, I didn't have socks on. I was barefoot. Because actually, for 16 years, I've always been barefoot when I make content. I swear to God, this is true. I just never wore socks. I don't like wearing socks indoors. I wear slippers like when I walk through the house, but I don't wear socks. And people freaked out at this knowledge. They were like, wait, you don't have socks on? This is absolutely unacceptable. It's like heathen behavior. You have to have socks. I said, well, I have a pair of socks. So I went and got them. But they were shitty old white socks with like holes in the bottom and shit. And it just looked terrible.
Phil, so you tell me you had one pair of socks, sir?
Well, actually, if you want to know the truth, I actually had about 5 pair, and they were all shitty and old, all worn out with big holes at the bottom and everything from, me. I only wear them outside when I put on, like sneakers and shoes to go out.
How do you only have 5 pair of socks?
Because I don't wear them. I work here every day, all day, so I don't need socks. I'm indoors at all times.
You never go outside, Phil?
Once a week. Once a week, I leave my castle.
What do you mean you only go outside once a week, Phil?
Once a week, I draw the bridge over the moat. Okay, the piranhas, the moat that's around my castle. What do they call it? The snort fort, right? And then I ride out on my mighty steed out into Renton, Washington. And I partake with the people. I shower the people with my presence, my kingly presence. I adorn them with my attention. And once a week, I go grocery shopping, and maybe I'll get some pet supplies for Jasper or whatever. And then I come back home. And that's it. Then that's it. The drawbridge comes back up. The chains come back. The guards with the axes block the door again. And that's it for another week. Just once a week.
But why? Like, don't most people leave their house more than once a week?
Well, most people have to, but I'm the king, and I got everything just served to me. Everything that I need.
Get it all delivered to you, Phil? Do you not enjoy going outside?
We've got squires and pages arriving at all times of the day delivering goods and services to me. So I don't see a reason why I should.
Are you worried that people are gonna fuck with you outside, or?
Oh, I mean, listen, people have tried to fuck with me outside for years. It's not a concern. It's just I work so much. I'm here. I mean, this is real talk now, not joking. I work so much that I'm here 6 days a week working full time. I don't really have a need to leave until that one day a week when, I got to go get groceries and I got to do shit. And I usually, this week, luckily, I have a day off where I'm spending with my wife the whole day. And we're actually going out and doing fun stuff together. We're going to have dinner together and everything. But, that's not all the time.
But
it's every few weeks.
You limit all of that to one day a week.
Yes, because I'm working twice a day. So really, it's not really even possible to go out and do shit when you have that much of a streaming schedule. And it's been like that for over a decade.
For over a decade, you only go outside one day a week?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Are you ever concerned about like I'm one to talk, I'm pale and fat. And I don't go out that often, but I go out more than once a week. Like, you do know you could get groceries on other days, right? Like, that is a possibility. Or you could go out with your wife on other days. Like, it is possible, right?
Oh, I know. But, it's good to, since I have the one day a week where I have to do all the busy work bullshit, I just get it all done that day. And then that way I have, enough time to dedicate to work. And like I said, now in the last couple of months, it's been better because I get to actually spend more time with my wife, having a whole day just to us and going out and doing stuff together. It's much better that way. Because before it was like, imagine on the day off, I'm trying to do the grocery shopping and trying to like go to dinner with my wife and everything together. It's stupid. Like I just want to have a day to spend with my wife.
Let's say you went grocery shopping for an hour on Tuesday.
Mhm.
You then could have the full day on whatever day off to go out with your wife.
Oh, right. But it's not just that. Usually, for example, on a typical day off that I have a bunch of shit to do. It could be I got to go grocery shopping, so I have to make the list with my wife. So we have to look at all the shit in the house, figure out what we need. Then I got to go grocery shopping. Then we come home, we unpack everything. So you're talking a couple hours at least, right? Then usually there's other shit that I got to do. So whether it's I'm out and about picking stuff up, like maybe we ordered stuff from stores, I got to pick stuff up. That happens sometimes. My wife will order something from a store and I got to go get it, or I'm returning something. The pet store, that's the one thing. Like I know you can order a lot of pet stuff online, but to go to the pet store and buy stuff in person, there's a local pet store we like for Jasper that, it's a little better to just go in person and do shit like that. Just basically I save everything for that one day. It's not like, it would be simple for him to just go grocery shopping on another day.
But isn't it then arduous and burdensome that you're doing all these tasks on your day off?
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
I wish I could do it through the week, quite frankly, but just the way that the schedule works, like for example, we only have one car. So when my wife's working, I wouldn't be able to go out and do anything that day anyway. And that's at least 3-4 days a week where I'm stuck, kind of at home and couldn't be able to do.
Do they have Uber in Renton?
Yeah, but I'm not going to spend money on a fucking Uber to go grocery shopping. That's like half the cost of the groceries.
But, okay, this is the thing though, is don't you set your own schedule? So aren't you the author of all your own pain with this whole day off situation and
absolutely
the schedule? And
you're right. You're absolutely right. And it's been tough, I'm not even kidding. Ever since I moved out here in 2014, I thought things were going to be a lot different, but I made a lot of bad financial decisions back then. And I got myself into a ton of fucking debt and a lot of problems to the point where I had to be working 6 days a week full time just to make ends meet. In fact, when I first moved out here, I was working 6.5 days and I only took a half day off to do the grocery shopping and shit. That's how much I was working.
You want a half day off, Phil? Okay, walk me through. What is the half day off like?
It was literally, I streamed the first half of the day, and then the second half, I went and did grocery shopping and went out to dinner, and then that was it. And then back to work. It was crazy.
Don't you feel like you could just change the schedule to make things easier?
Well, now I'm trying to, and that's the thing. With the last 6 months or so that things have been going so well, and me getting more support than I really have gotten in about a decade, things are getting a lot better. I'm getting the opportunity to take more days off. I'm stretching things out differently. Right now, the stress is way down compared to how it used to be. It really is. It's getting better.
Okay, so let's get to this. So you told me you only had 5 pair of socks.
This is correct. I'm not kidding. I had 5 pair, and they were old white socks with like worn out at the bottom. Some of them had holes at the at the tip.
Is this the strategy? Did you throw them out, Phil?
I did, and I should have kept them to show you the holes in one of them.
Right. Yeah, no, we needed to see. We needed to see. Okay, then you were telling me what, you only had 1 pair of underwear too? Or how many pair of underwear?
I'm not even kidding. Until maybe like a few months ago, I probably only had like 5 pair of underwear that I rotated between. Now, not to say that I didn't wash them. I did. I washed them all the time, but they were like old. They had holes in like the waistband and shit. Because I'm the kind of guy that like I wear shit till it's worn out. I don't wear shit till I don't like it anymore and then I throw it out or donate it. I'll wear shit till it's done. Like my last pair of sneakers had holes in the soles and water was coming up through the bottom of the sneaker. And that's why I got rid of them and bought a new pair of sneakers.
Phil, how are you living like this, Phil? This is fucking demented, Phil. You're wearing fucking sneakers and fucking underwear that are crusty and fucking holes in them. Did you at least get new underwear now?
I now have new underwear, yes, and it is official as of yesterday. Again, the pages and the delivery squires delivered 18 new pairs of luxury socks to my castle that I can now wear daily and alternate between on stream.
What defines them as luxury socks, Phil?
They are not just regular cotton socks. These socks have either bamboo or merino wool lining. It is the cream of the crop of socks that I have had delivered. Various kinds of designs. In fact, get this. I'm not wearing them today. One of the pair of socks, I've never seen this before in my life, actually is marked right foot, left foot on the sock. You must.
No, like,
yes.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I could show you. I'll show you right now.
All right, go, Phil. Go.
I'll get him.
Gotta do show and tell with the king.
I'll get him.
This is the new foot fetish grift for Phil. Like, he's committed to this grift, guys. He's telling us about how they're labeled right foot, left foot, his old fucking dirty socks with fucking holes in them, and the whole fucking nine. I don't really know what to say, folks. It's the schedule, the 5 pair of socks, fucking 1 pair of underwear. This is Phil. This is his life. And we're going through it together. This is what they call a struggle session, I'm pretty sure. I'm okay.
Yeah, this is the life of a king is what this is. I could hear you down the hallway.
This is the life of a king. Okay, this is the life of a king.
All right, you ready?
King of Renton.
Hold on, I got to turn on the autofocus so that it'll actually focus so you can see this.
By the way, we had a $20 dono before we get into this.
Nice.
My king, Tony Clown's AEW is not worthy to touch the hem of your cape.
Wow.
Canadian Netflix gives you ad-free access to all WWE shows, including their best show at the moment, NXT. PB, it's stacked with hot chicks, all the puppies and gooning. And by the way, guys, if we do $500 on this show, Saturday night main event review next week.
Right.
$750 we'll do the next AEW show. And then Phil has these sock and foot goals up until the $500. Okay, so show us, Phil. What? Okay, let's see these socks.
I'm not kidding you. I wasn't making it up. There it is.
That's the left foot, Phil.
That's the left foot. And there's the right. You have to wear them on the correct foot.
Uh-huh. What happens if is it like crossing the beams in Ghostbusters? Like, what would happen?
These socks are so luxury that they have a design on the bottom, a padding on the bottom that is contoured to the left and right foot. So if you accidentally put it on the wrong foot, you're padding the wrong side of the foot that doesn't touch the floor properly.
Now, Chad has pointed out that you were literally holding the L right there, Phil. How does that one feel? But you're literally holding the L. All right, are we trying these on then, Phil?
Oh, you want me to try these on? Is that what this is?
Let's get a live DSP tries it of the left foot, right foot sock.
All right, here we'll go wide.
Let's get the dedicated foot cam going.
The foot cam's on. Here we go. So let's see. Now, hold on. I got to be sure not to cross the socks. That would be deadly, and we might have a total plutonic reversal here on stream. We don't want that here. All right. So here we go. So this was the sock. Oh, I didn't show you this. This is another bamboo line sock. But look at the design on. Hold on. Look at the design on this one. Look how wild this sock looks.
What the fuck? Is that a basketball net in the surface of Jupiter with a baseball home plate at the bottom?
It's bizarre. It's weird looking, but it's very comfortable. Like, it's probably one of the most comfortable socks I've ever had. It's so nice. So
what's the idea behind? Like, what was it described as on the site, Phil?
I think it was just like colorful, but this is like, these are the bamboo lines, so they're supposed to be like moisture wicking, prevents uncomfortable sweat on the foot kind of sock, but also like luxurious feeling, they kiss its ass on Amazon. They say a million different things, and then it's like, the whole pack, like every set is different color scheme and like weird design on it.
How much are these incredible bamboo line socks, Phil?
Surprisingly enough, they're not that expensive. For a 6-pack, like 6 pair, it was maybe just over $20. So it actually wasn't bad at all. It was very reasonable.
This is like poverty socks. The king needs better socks than that.
Well, that's because I got them on Amazon. I mean, if I go to like a name brand luxury store, I'm sure you could buy $200 socks, and but who gives a shit?
We need you to get the $200 socks, Phil. That's what the king needs. All right, let's get these bad boys on. All right, switch to the foot cam.
Here it is.
All right, here we go.
This is the left sock. Here's my big, disgusting, stinky foot right here. Live on camera.
You're really selling them, Phil. You're really selling them for this content.
It's gross. It's like the feet. You ever seen the Lord of the Rings movies? You ever seen the Hobbits and their feet? That's what my feet are like in real life. They're disgusting. There we go. All right.
Oh my God.
So there we are. Left foot,
Wild.
custom sock, and I'll show you with the close-up. Ready? So with the close-up.
You have a close. Oh my God. Here we go.
So it's aligned with my foot. See, the padding is on the foot on the proper spots because it's the left foot. If I put the right foot on, it would be completely wrong and it wouldn't feel proper when I'm walking around in this sock. So you have to put the right sock on the right foot. It has to be correct.
Okay,
So here we go.
Now we're gonna get the other sock on.
That's right.
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, you can't have two different socks on, not the same pair. That's
Mismatched
insanely
sock,
taboo.
Phil.
Yeah, here we go. You can't.
I don't know if they're gonna pay for the mismatched socks, Phil.
I might have to trade in my crown, my kingly crown, if I was wearing mismatched socks. I mean, who the hell does that, right? Okay, here we go. The right foot. Nice tight sock. Compresses the foot as well for optimal blood flow. That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Great. What are you laughing at? This is serious business.
Serious shit. This is serious shit. Can you give us a runway walk, Phil? And
Sure. Oh, yes. Here we go.
On the catwalk. Here comes Phil. He's on the catwalk. On the catwalk. Yeah! Let's go, Phil!
I was not planning on utilizing that camera as much, but what are you going to do?
We're really putting that camera to good use, Phil.
Now,
we're really putting it to good use.
Sock pro tip. The moment that you remove your socks, you should immediately fold them together so you don't lose the other sock. Because this is how people lose socks around the house. They don't immediately bundle them together. Even if they're dirty, bundle them together, then you can't lose them. There you go.
This is pro tip from Phil. Sock pro tip number 1 with Phil. It's true though. Like I lose my socks all the time. I'm buying other pairs. So I wanted okay. Do you never get socks or underwear for Christmas? Because that's typically like an adult Christmas or birthday gift at this point. How did we get depleted down to the 5 pair?
Well, I hate to say it, I'm just focusing my camera again.
Yeah.
I moved, like I said, I did move across the country now it's been, almost 11 years ago. And when I did, most of my family still lives back east, so I just don't see them. I talk to my parents once a week, give them a call, but I don't really have any, if I had relatives, I'm sure, right? If they were relatives you see every Christmas, that's the shit they give you. Or they give you a gift card to some clothing store, Old Navy or some shit, and you go there and you're like, what do I want? I'll just buy some fucking socks or whatever. But yeah, it's just merely me and my wife and a few of our friends who live out here. So it's not none of those I wish I still had a big family. I had a big family when I was a kid, and yeah, all the time, that kind of stuff. But it's been a while since I moved. So
you do have friends out there, because I was starting to get worried. You're saying you're only going outside once a week. Your family's on the other side. You do have friends out there you hang out with and you go out with sometimes.
My wife has a few friends. I have a few acquaintances. But this is the thing. God forbid that I ever mention anything on the internet, because these fucking nut jobs would just try to find out information and ruin everything for everyone. There are people who we're friendly with, and but you're not going to talk about that shit because you don't want to have. That's the sad part of being a content creator like me, is accidentally you might make a mistake and then someone else pays for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want people to get harassed just because they know us. So that's why I don't really talk about that kind of shit.
Okay. And we have 18 new pairs of socks.
18, yes.
So as the show goes on, can you try on each new pair? But we're going to need donos. How much for each new trying on of socks?
To be fair, it's only 15 unique designs because one of the packs had a double design. I didn't realize that. It was 3 and 3 of the same. So there's really 15 different. So you've seen these red that are the bamboo. Right. And you've seen, these are also bamboo, but these are the ones that are the left and right foot socks. So you've seen 2 so far. I can't wait to get to the merino wool. I've never worn merino wool socks before, and I wonder what they feel like. They feel really comfortable. So
now, tell us, what is merino wool?
I honestly don't know. What is the difference between regular wool and merino wool? I've always heard the term merino wool like it's a luxury wool, but I actually don't know how much of an improvement it is upon just regular wool. Maybe someone in the chat would be more design focused and be able to share that information with us? I actually don't know.
Okay, final thing, Phil, on this edition of Grill Phil. What the hell was going on with this? So there was supposed to be a Balatro stream, the
Yes.
coin game. What happened, Phil? Why did you scam the Balatro fans?
I
Phil?
scammed the Balatro fans. No, it's a sad story. I'm pretty pissed about this. Okay. So way back in the summer, a fan, this was before I was making all this increased revenue. Okay. So, a fan was being very nice to me and they said, we want you to improve your webcam. They donated a webcam. I'll bring it to show you what the webcam was. It's right over here.
All right. Right. This is the stuff that people have come for.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. Let's get some subs.
We did. There was a 10 sub bomb. We'll do a segment shouting out all the contributions.
All right, but we got to do this first.
Yeah, let's finish the Grill Phil segment. So
let's do the Grill Phil segment. Yeah.
This is the little guy, okay? It's a cute little webcam, and it's actually unique. It's AI powered, and it actually moves around and follows you like around the room. And it's hilarious because sometimes I activated it by accident. And then I'd like come over here and the camera would go, whoop. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's just following me all around the room. It's creepy as hell. I'm like, dude, I'm going to go take a shit. It's going to follow me into the bathroom. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but it's really good quality. You could do up to 4K video, but I usually do like 1080p. It's 60 frames per second. Really good webcam. I've been using this damn thing for like 6 straight months. I love it. Windows does a fucking update and it bricks the camera.
So
Just
you're telling me Bill Gates fucked up your webcam?
Yeah.
And this is actually Bill Gates and Microsoft's fault?
Well, Bill Gates was on the outside and the internet line's fucking with it and just injecting this Windows update into my internet line while Tony Khan was climbing the fucking telephone pole and cutting the internet, apparently. So.
What a piece of shit.
These guys, these fucking guys. But
You're
anyway.
on a roll, Phil. You were on a roll. Keep going, Phil.
I'm just disappointed because I really liked it, and it turns on and turns itself right back off again. Okay, it just won't stay on for longer than like 5 seconds. And I tried everything. I tried updates, firmware, software, drivers, everything, nothing. For 24 hours, I can't figure out what to do. Now, luckily, I had a backup webcam that I had bought in the last couple of months, just in case something were to go wrong. I wanted to have a backup. It's not as good as this one. Okay, so. Basically, what I had to do was on the fly get that webcam working on my day off, which really sucks. On my day off, I'm supposed to be trying to spend time with my wife and stuff. Like I said, half the day I'm fucking grocery shopping and shit. Instead, I'm in this office for 2 hours.
Pause. The claim that half the day you are grocery shopping. How is this possible? That it takes half a day to do groceries, bro? Like, how far away is the grocery store?
No, well, first I got to make the shopping list with my wife. That could take upwards of 30 to 40 minutes because you got to figure out meals for every day. You got to figure out the ingredients for each meal. You got to figure out, all that shit. What's that we're out of in the house for that week? It could take upwards of a half an hour or more just to make the grocery list. That's true. And then you're freaking out. He's freaking out.
40 minutes to make the list?
Yes.
Really a similar list every week? No?
Sometimes, but sometimes we want to alternate meals. We don't have the same meals every week. You get bored. So we're alternating and, we got different things. I even have an app for it. I have an app. That's my grocery list that I use every week.
So you have an app, but it still takes 40 minutes for the list.
It's a very elaborate process. Let me tell you. Here's the app right there. See, I got all my groceries, So you got to make the list, and you got to actually drive there. You got to do the shopping. And
how long is, so we have 40 minutes for the list.
Yes.
Okay. Then we have, how long is it? 20 minutes to Costco, 30 minutes?
I'd say about 15 minutes to get there, and then probably about a half an hour to 40 minutes inside, depending, and then another 15 minutes to get home. So that's an hour just for the shopping. And then you got to unpack, you got to clean the vegetables, you got to bag the bread, you got to freeze certain things, you got to put things away. That's probably about another half hour to 45 minutes. So realistically, on my day off, it's probably around 3 or more hours just for the grocery shopping.
There's no way it takes 3 hours for you to go grocery shopping, Phil. You must be fibbing. Are you for real?
No, I'm serious. In fact, some days it takes longer than that.
Bro, they're saying you're running your life like basic training in the army.
That's my mind. I have that organized mind where I'm always like doing things in a very organized manner. It's not just willy-nilly stuff, you know. That's how I've been my whole
Salute
life.
him, civilians. He does, but he washes the vegetables. He
Yeah.
puts the bread in the bread bag.
I chop up
He
the vegetables unless it's something
everything.
that would go bad if I chop it early. I chop everything early, you know, get everything into separate containers, into the fridge, nicely organized so that we're ready for the week. We're good to go. Yeah.
So, does the list take longer than the actual shopping itself?
No, the list, because here's the thing. Like we shop for about a week to a week and a half. It really depends on my wife's work schedule and my work schedule. So, and then you got to determine if it's a day that my wife is working, in which case she doesn't have time to make an elaborate meal. So we have to do something more quickly, or if it's a day when she's home and she can make a more elaborate meal. So it's work. Yeah. What days are you working, honey? And you got to put those on. Okay. So we have 3 days. That's a quick meal. 3 days. That's a home meal. One day we're going to order out, maybe because I'm hitting a goal and we're going to order like a DSP tries it goal or something like that. So you got to figure all that out. Then you got the meal. You got to figure out the ingredients for each meal. Well, what do we have? What don't we have? Maybe we have some of those ingredients. Maybe we don't have those ingredients. It's very complicated. Listen, when I was a bachelor and I was a YouTuber full time, you want to know what my grocery list was? Go to fucking McDonald's or go to Burger King or go to the local place and just grab a fucking bag of food and shove it down my mouth and get back to filming. That's what my life was like back then. Now that I'm married and I'm a family man, things are very different. You know, we're trying to eat healthier, look how I've lost weight in the last couple of years because we're eating better now.
Slim, King. You're looking fit. Continue. Go off, King.
So you know, it's just a different life. A lot of people don't get it. And listen, when I was younger, I made fun of people too. I would hear this story and I would laugh my ass off.
No,
you know,
I'm not. I am actually genuinely curious about this. I know that there are people who are dying to know about this. These are the things that they're fixated on. Okay, so we have an idea from chat. Have you considered Instacart?
That's when they shop for you and they deliver it to your house, correct? Well, the
Yes.
problem with that is you're paying a lot more. That's just the same as if you're ordering, you know, DoorDash or Uber Eats. You're paying for the service, like the delivery service. You got a tip. So you're going to end up paying way more money. And here's the real problem with Instacart, because I've seen it. They just grab anything off the fucking shelf. They don't give a shit. So let's say, oh, I want bananas. Dude, they will grab you the most brown ass fucking bananas off that shelf and toss it in. They don't give a shit. I know because last year, about a year and a half ago, both my wife and I caught COVID. Okay, it was bad. We were real sick. So we did order groceries once to be delivered. The groceries were delivered 4 hours later than what they said they were going to be delivered. So we were starving because we were waiting for food and it never showed up till like late at night. And then half the stuff was bad. Like the bread was like fucking rock hard and shit. We're like, what is this bullshit? We got ripped off. You know, we paid a lot of money for the delivery and it wasn't good. So
now, when you say you were starving, did you have no other food source in the home?
oh, I mean, snacks and stuff, you know, but we were waiting for the food to arrive so we could actually make a meal.
You weren't starving.
All right. I didn't look like Starvin' Marvin from South Park. No, I was just hungry.
Sticking out, and I'm famished. I'm dying. Oh, fuck, Phil. Okay. So we have the issue at the webcam. What happens with Balatro?
So what happened was this webcam was busted and I was using the backup webcam, but it wasn't as good. Like it had focus issues and everything. So a new webcam was getting delivered during that stream. And I said, if I don't do this now and figure out the setup, literally it'll never get done. It's going to be put off and put off. So instead of doing the Balatro stream, we just did a tech stream where I messed with the webcam and everything. Now, it's funny because, yeah, people who wanted Balatro were disappointed, but now we have this. This would not have been possible without the tech stream.
You know, we wouldn't have the dedicated foot cam for Phil to try on different socks if he had done the gameplay stream, guys.
That's right. You know, look at this.
Grateful, buddy.
That's right. Sometimes the king just knows better. You know what I mean? Like, I know the better use of my time. And in this case, I felt a kingly audible needed to be called so that we could actually do the right thing.
We have an objection, right? Which is, why didn't you do it after the gameplay stream? Give them the gameplay stream that was promised and then stay up a couple hours to fix the setup and set it up.
Fair enough. After I finish my late night stream, okay, I have to finish with uploading and setting up my streams and schedule for the next day. And then I try to spend some time with my wife before we go to sleep because that's the only real time I get to spend with her. I've been streaming all day. So I try to spend like an hour, hour and a half with Kat because she has to go to work in the morning. So she has to get up way earlier than me. She has to go to bed way earlier than me. Some nights what's happened is she goes to sleep And then I come in this office and I'm working like fucking late night trying to get my setup working. That's December was like half the month was like that, where like she goes to sleep and I'm in here fucking with lights, fucking with wireless signals, fucking with all kinds of stuff to get it to work. I don't want to do that every night. You know, I could, but it gets exhausting. You know, I want to be able to have a normal life where I can spend time with my family and relax. And, you know, I get it.
Every night, or would it just have been the one night after Balatro?
For the camera, probably the one night. Because it took about 2 hours on that stream to get it working, get the alternate angle. But dude, I have absolutely no luck with tech. Everything that I've tried to do in the last month and a half has been 2 or 3 times as more difficult than what you think it's going to be. And just this lighting setup, I'm kidding you, dude. This was like, I'm fucking not lying. This was like 10 plus hours of work to get these lights to work, because the wireless wasn't working and the fucking program wasn't working. And I had to find plugins and hacks and shit online to get it working. It's just a nightmare. So at this point, I'm like very exhausted. I've done it for over a month. I just want the setup to be done. And when this thing bricked out of nowhere, which wasn't in my plans, it just threw me for a loop and pissed me off. I just want this done so we can move forward and be able to do shit. And it's funny that it turned into something silly like this, that, you know, you get something good out of it, at least. Thank God, because if nothing had come out of it, it probably would have felt like a wasted night. But in truth, it's not a big deal. We're going to play Balatro more in the future. It's just that people like to make a mountain out of a molehill. So
That's right. How dare they get the gaming content they asked for?
That's right.
The king knows best. Like Hogan knows best. The king knows best.
Sometimes you have to do what's best. I'll give you an example. All right. People have been begging me to go back to be playing this game, Marvel Rivals, for several weeks. Right. I was playing Marvel Rivals when it came out. I played it for like a week. People didn't like it. It was boring. They're not supporting it. All right, I'll play other stuff. So a month passes. Now Marvel Rivals is like the top fucking game on Steam. Everyone's playing it. Phil, go back to Marvel Rivals. Okay, I play Marvel Rivals for 1 hour. 1 fucking hour. I had 100 trolls in my chat just dumping on the game, and I made $7. And it's like, dude, seriously? Like, you begged for this for a month, and I go to play it, and I make $7. And I said, you know what? Watch this. I'm not going to play it. Instead, let's just hang out for an hour. And in that hour, I made like $100. So it's like, I know what people like. They like hanging out. They like certain kinds of conversation. They like certain kinds of games. Sometimes you just got to not listen to that white noise of everyone screaming for something.
You're saying they don't like gaming on DSP Gaming?
Certain games. Like, for example, they like games that are, you know, online, for example, Call of Duty or Street Fighter, seeing me in a competitive atmosphere, challenging games like FromSoft, you know, Dark Souls and shit like that. Hot new games, when they're hot and new, the first week gets a lot of attention. Or also chill games, like relaxing games where, yes, the game is there, like Balatro. It's a game that you're playing, but you also get the chance to interact with the audience. Those are the ones that really seem to work. These other ones that are like kind of these, oh, it's online hero shooter and you can't really talk to your audience because you got to pay attention to the micromanagement of how each character works and everything. Or even like more elaborate RPGs. Like I tried to play this game called Path of Exile 2 last month. It's so attention demanding because there's so much going on in it. You can't really have a social aspect with your audience, and it doesn't work.
You're a professional gamer that can pick anything up within 2 minutes and then also run the stream, Phil.
Competitively. Yes, but not any just old game. Here's the thing. You can't not make every single game entertaining to every single audience. It's just not possible. And I have a certain kind of audience that I've gotten over the last 10 to 15 years. I know what they like. I know what they don't like. Sometimes people scream for something like they want a JRPG, right? So I'll play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and it flops. And I said, well, I knew that was going to happen because I know the audience, but they still scream for it. And then I try it and then it doesn't work. So, you know, it's an acquired thing. Over time, you learn.
Well, do you think it really actually does matter what games you play, or do you think the audience donates what they'll donate regardless?
Actually, I do believe that sometimes the game has something to do with it. And then sometimes you'll get someone who just wants to donate, right? It's a combination. It really is. It is a combination. So some people will show up to a certain stream because they want that game. You know, I have people who literally only show up when I play Street Fighter 6, and they'll drop a big $20, $30, $40 dono because they like Street Fighter 6. They like seeing me play it. But then there are people who will just show up no matter what and contribute when they can. But that's something that I've grown over the years being a 16-year content creator. A lot of people don't get that. They're a specialist, say, in one style of gamer content. Me, I'm kind of the jack of all trades, master of none kind of philosophy where
No, I thought you were the Street Fighter master, Phil.
I mean, I'm
You're
better
at
than
least
the
a
average
master.
player, but I don't play it enough to be a pro player at Street Fighter. I would never be able to enter a tournament and beat anyone today.
Phil,
I don't play enough.
Go down on yourself, Phil. You're a champion at Street Fighter. You're an Evo champion, Phil. This is tough, man. You can't just say that. You can't just say that, Phil. Like, come on, be proud, Phil.
Come
You're
on.
a fucking champ.
I'm a former champ. I'm 42 years old, soon to be 43, and you got to accept your limitations as you get older.
No.
You know, your back starts to hurt. You don't have as much energy. You grow moobs, and then you can't beat people at Street Fighter. There's not much you can do.
No, not the move. Okay, so we're transitioning into Lego streamer now. Is that the new arc?
Could
I
be.
heard-
People want it, and I bought a set of Legos. I just haven't gotten around to testing it yet.
So
You know.
I'm thinking I'll join you for the Lego streams, Phil, and I'll chirp you the whole time while you're building the Legos. You're like, Phil, what are you doing? The pieces didn't fit them together right, Phil. It's been 2 hours and we still haven't built the Mario pipe, Phil.
That's right. Where's the it's succulent plants is the one that I bought off Amazon like sale. It's like a bunch of fucking little cacti and shit. Like, where's the fucking cactus? Where is it?
We gotta get you Lego. I think this is the new arc for you, man, is building the Legos. Have you thought about getting those like Gundam figurines and painting them like Warhammer or like the mech figures?
I'm not against it. Like I think we should start simple. If Lego works, if people like that and they want to just relax and hang out with me while I'm building something like that, and we have a good time, then then we could try other things too. Like that. Actually, as much as people make fun of it, this is a good setup. If I just take the keyboard and shit off of here, this is actually a good table where I could set it up and do various different things. So it's a possibility for content in the future. But
we're at like a crossroads with DSP because I guess you're saying you're no longer a pro gamer, you're not a Street Fighter champion, so we're exploring options: foot fetish streamer, Lego streamer, wrestling streams. We're branching out in all sorts of different directions, and that's the key. Diversification of content is key. We will find an audience somewhere, Phil.
That's
We're
right.
gonna make it, bro.
We are.
Now we're over an hour into the show. Your wrestling content, sir.
Wrestling? What's that? I never heard of it.
I thought this was the Phil tries on socks and tells us about his life show. It's the wrestling show.
In all honesty, we've got shout outs to do. Like a lot of contributions came in that we didn't even shout out yet.
Let's do the shout outs and then we'll get into AEW Dynamite and WWE.
Yeah.
I don't know. The mic being scuffed is really, it's taken the wind out of my sails. I'm like, what are we gonna do? All right, Phil. Let's get some subs. Let's get some donos right now for the king. The king is back. Let's go.
Let's see. So we actually had on the kick side of stuff, we had a 10 sub bomb from Scuba Steve. Scuba Steve, thank you for 10.
My God, Scuba Steve with the 10 sub bomb.
We also have Luna the Moth King with a single sub over on Kick. So thank you, Luna the Moth King, for that. And then on the YouTube side of stuff, we had a couple super chats here, I believe. Yes. So we had first of all, Cypress TV had re-upped his membership for 4 months and said, Tony's Khan is scared for his life with your stream today. I'm sure that he's scurrying down the polls as we speak. Actually, it's hilarious. I'm not kidding you. The authorities here in Washington State are desperate and asking for help from the populace who is climbing the poles and cutting the wires. You can't make this shit up. Like, the fucking people don't know how to stop people from cutting the wires and fucking with the internet out here. Arrow Squirrel did a $2 super chat, and he says, yo, Golem feet in 2025. This was not on my bingo card. It's not Golem feet. It's big, stinky, hairy hobbit feet. You got to get it right. Okay?
You're really trying to sell the fetishists, aren't you, Phil? You're hitting all the key words and tags for the fetish content as you go, buddy. All right?
We got some tips. We got a good amount of tips, actually.
Let's go, tips. Now remember, super chats and subs don't help until the end of the month. The liquidity of the business is in tips. So I would appreciate it if you would tip the king. Let's get some tip, Phil. Let's see some big tips. Come on.
So we
Come on,
start
big
off
tip,
with
no whammies, and
a $10 tip from Slayer to start the stuff. He says, I really enjoyed Smark Guy's revival so far. My friend is going to go to Las Vegas for WrestleMania. He got the second floor seat, and it's $2,000 for the ticket. Yikes. He says he's planning to get front row seats for the following Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania. And, he actually likes older school wrestlers like Edge, Randy Orton, and Jericho. And now he's debating flying to Australia to see the AEW pay-per-view because that's the only place you can actually see Edge.
The Australia show is not a pay-per-view. Don't listen to the lies. First of all, the Australia show is a disaster.
Oh.
So they originally booked a stadium, like a 70,000 seat stadium.
Huh.
They couldn't sell any tickets.
Oh, wow.
So now they had to downgrade it to like a shitty little arena in Australia. They still can't sell the fucking thing out. And then they scheduled it for a day that's NBA All-Star Weekend. So they've been promoting it like it's going to air on like TBS, Dynamite, but it won't. It'll actually be preempted by the NBA.
Wow.
So nobody will even be able to see that shit.
Wow. That's pretty lame. What are they doing? Well, we'll talk about it. We're already getting ahead of ourselves because we're going to talk about the show. And like the immediate thing you see when the show starts, you're like, wow, compared to WWE, what like a downgrade, right? Yeah. So another $5 tip from Slayer. And he says, watching back WWE, this has made me watch back some indie wrestling promotions that I used to watch. There used to be one called WCPW and Defiant Wrestling that ran from 2016 to 2019 and had some good wrestling, but very low budget, very bad production. But they did have big names like Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle, Ricochet, and Drew McIntyre. And they actually had a World Cup of 64 different wrestlers competing in like a big-ass tournament.
Wow. Okay,
64-man
tournament. Okay.
So thank you for the $5 tip there, Slayer. And then we got a couple more. Let's see here. I'm just trying to see where we're at. We're currently at 172 and climbing. So we're on our way. We got a little bit of momentum.
We're getting there. Let's get some support. Come on. Phil's such a good sport during Grill Phil. A fucking legend. He put on all the socks for us. He told us about the grocery shopping, the 40-minute shopping. Come on, guys. Let's get some support. Let's get some subs. Let's go as we get into the second hour of wrestling content.
That's right.
Eventually, we'll surely review some matches at one point.
We got $1.01 tip for someone trying to basically bring up WWE champions, but I don't know why you'd bring that up because I don't know anything about it. It's not like I would play it and have any knowledge of it, but they're talking about the new character this week was Hall of Fame Goldberg, and I need to raise more money so I can do pulls in the game. Well, there you go.
Did you get Goldberg?
What are you talking about? Get Goldberg? I don't play.
You played and you got Goldberg. I know TJ Gamebox showed that you spent hundreds to get Goldberg this week.
Millions.
How many hundreds was it to get Goldberg?
Well, here's the thing. I would have been able to buy 36 pairs of socks, but I took half the sock budget and I appropriated it towards obtaining Hall of Fame Goldberg. And therefore, that's why I could only get you the 15 different varieties.
Hallmark of financial responsibility. As we all know, Phil is a fiscal wizard there. That's brilliant. You appropriated half the funds to socks. That was a smart investment, Phil. It's coming back to you in spades. I'm telling you, the dedicated foot cam, the sock try-ons, it's going to pay. It's going to be like a 10x investment, bro. Unlike gold, which is just a scam.
Exact gold. Who the hell uses gold in 2025? They put gold flakes on steaks now and shit. It's worth nothing, right? Totally no value.
Man.
We got a $10 tip from Alex from Phoenix. He says, AEW was on fire in early 2024, but now they have dwindled down, and Tony Khan has seemingly stopped giving two shits about what the fans actually want. He's so Vince McMahon-esque now that I can't even tell the two apart. Oh, the irony, but I'm looking forward to the show. God bless the Smark Show.
Let's go!
There you go. So that's another 10. So now we're up to 184. We got, I think, one more to shout out. Oh, actually,
oh my God, we're not even halfway there yet, guys.
We're getting there, though.
I'm going to need you guys to dig a little deeper. Let's get like a 50 bomb of subs over on Kick, 100 bomb. Apparently, there's some guy offering 100 subs for Japanese women's wrestling.
Yeah, I haven't seen him yet today. He came on my stream earlier this week, and he did a couple smaller tips, like $5 tips, and he's like, did you ever watch these federations? One was called like TJPW, and one's called like Choka Pro. And I'm like, no, I've never heard of it. And he's like, it's easily available on YouTube. You can watch. If I were to come to your show and drop 100 sub dono on Smart Guys, would you watch that wrestling? And I said, I would assume so. I mean, why the hell would we say no? As long as it's not, 5 hours of time investment, if it's easily available. So, yeah, I haven't seen them yet today. Sadly, it's my fault. I didn't remember what their name was. I should have wrote their name down, but we'll see if they show up today or not.
They owe that money. They said that they were good for it, and yet they're not here donating. The bastards. The scumbaggery of it all. So people are saying, and this is the old meme, that they'll donate $100 to see you do 25 push-ups. I don't think that that's enough. If Phil was going to do push-ups, how much would we need to see right now, Phil, for you to do 10 push-ups?
10 push? I mean, shit. You'd have to figure out. Sadly, I don't think I could fit. Like, let me put it this way. I don't know if we could do it today, but I could probably clear the floor. I don't want to fuck with the wires because they're fucking so stupid right now.
I think you could fit, Phil. I think you could fit because there's you had all this space to do the kicks and the fucking marching around. Come on. If
I don't know.
Get $300 right now.
Let me see. Hold on. I don't like to overpromise and underdeliver. Let me do a test.
Let's get $300 to see. Like, I really want to see this. This would be a legendary moment in Phil's story.
Too goddamn tall.
Bro, I can see that you'll fit. I think you'll fit. Like, come on. You got this. You're fitting. You're fitting, bro. You're fitting.
Hold on.
You're fitting, Phil.
Oh, shit. I kicked the piece. Fuck.
You got this, bro. You got this, bro.
I'm trying to fit.
You got this. You just got to extend your legs and arms, man.
I'm trying.
You can do it, Phil.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I can do it. I can fit.
Huge.
I can actually fit.
Oh, my God. It's the best show ever.
I did one. I did one.
Oh my God, Phil did a push. Let's get some fucking support right now. Let's fucking go. I fucking love Phil. I fucking love Phil. This is the best show ever.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Let's go, guys. Everybody gotta support Phil. Gotta give Phil props for that. Come on. Give Phil props.
This is legit the first time I've had an office set up where I can do shit. Like I was a slob. The shit was everywhere, and now I can actually fucking do stuff on camera. It's pretty interesting.
Like, this is awesome.
Damn straight.
This is awesome. Clammy for 5 says the side view of DSP's room is actually pretty cool. If we get a $300 contribution, Phil will do the other push-ups. But come on, guys.
We need a 300, and all at once. By the way, not 100 then 100. It's got to be 300 at once, all one big one.
300 all at once, and Phil will bang out those push-ups, no problem. And it will be the conclusion of that arc.
There you go.
How many years ago was that now, Phil?
Oh my God, that was like 3-4 years ago for sure, And I was fucking with people. I was like, oh,
like 10 years ago.
I went right over there and I did 10 off camera, I think I did 25 off camera or something like that.
Oh fuck! All right, what are we doing? Are we gonna do Jasper?
I don't know. Jasper's here. Jasper Cam. Actually, this is actually a really good Jasper Cam too. See, you can see him crawling around. Look how cool that is.
Cute.
He's very cute.
Oh, he's way better than Andy's cats. Way better.
Oh, don't say that. I'm sure Andy's cats are super cute too. Come on.
We got Big Boss for $2 saying everybody's looking real jacked today, brother. Let's go. It's just like Hogan. Phil's like Hogan in his fucking prime. The 24-inch Phil Pythons, brother. Let's go.
Well, you guys moob shamed me last week, so I had to wear a sweatshirt this week, so you can't see it.
You gotta get some lifting with Phil streams.
We got a
Phil in the gym.
We got a 420 tip from Lady Charisma, just saying, as an avid viewer of both WWE and AEW, I don't go in expecting WWE levels of anything, but sadly AEW is in that in 2019 WWE position right now. You're better off waiting for the highlights to be uploaded to YouTube and watching what you like. To note, I like smaller arenas. They are starting to run. A smaller hot crowd is better than 2,000 people in an NBA arena, in my opinion.
Okay, and we got a $5, and I was going to bring this up. Has PPP seen the video of Ricochet where he puts his fingers in the stinky hole? It's better than his promo work. So yeah, years and years ago when Ricochet was first in WWE, a tape got leaked where Ricochet was fingering his asshole and jerking. And it was at that point I knew he was going nowhere. And I was like a fan from his Lucha Underground days, his Prince Puma. But Ricochet is Ricochet, fingering his bum like a bum. Like
I don't know. Are we sure about this? Because you remember, what was it? Almost a decade ago, Seth Rollins had his ex leak his tiny dick pics and stuff on the internet.
No.
And he's in a good position right now. So I don't know if it's an indication.
Ricochet is no Seth Rollins, my friend.
Al.
And that's saying something, like Seth is looking Fruit Loop as fuck all the time, but at least he never put his fingers up his bum. You know what I mean? And both of us have had our embarrassing moments, but thank God neither of us did that. And then, four Japanese characters for 420.
Japanese characters.
Kevin Nash, summer of 92, Tony Khan, Wank's Dogs, Quab.
Oh.
Are you aware of this lore, Phil? Are you aware of Kevin Nash in the summer of 92?
I keep hearing the meme. I have no idea what it actually means. So maybe today will be the day that we clarify.
I will clarify, Phil. In the sweltering summer heat of 1992, Kevin Nash was sexually assaulted and raped against his will by a number of ebony gentlemen in an alleyway behind an arena in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Really?
He's been living with the shame ever since. It's terrible.
This is documented, like it's real? It's not a meme? Or is it actually just like a meme joke?
I mean, it's as real as it could be. It's as real as it gets. It's as real as wrestling.
Wow.
So Kevin Nash is haunted forever by the specter of 92.
Wow.
All right. It's a great wrestling stream there, guys.
We got a one anonymous gifted sub over on Kick. I don't know who did it because it was anonymous, but thank you for the anonymous sub over on Kick. So now we're up to 205. We've got momentum going. Now remember what we had said, the goals for this week. Our first goal is 500, and if we hit that, we're going to be reviewing Saturday night's main event next week, which is kind of important. Like, all these WWE plot lines are leading towards Saturday night's main event, and if we don't review it, we're going to be kind of missing out on that. So it is an extra show.
You got to get to at least $500. Guys.
Exactly.
Let's be real. And then the big stretch goal, $750 to do AEW, because AEW's in a rough place right now. And we'll start off this review here in a second. Yeah. And I'll just say to Phil's coming in at a really bad time for AEW.
I guess so.
There was a time where AEW, they were selling out arenas, 10,000, 20,000 people. They had, 76,000 or 82,000, or depending on which numbers you believe or trust, people in Wembley Stadium. And then over the course of that year from, 2023, where they had 70, 80,000 people in Wembley, the next year, it was only like 30,000 people.
Wow.
And it's just been a massive decline since then. And they went from stadiums to arenas to basically they're in fucking bingo halls. So let's start off. This is the AEW Dynamite review
from
January 15th, 2025. The show starts with Excalibur and Tony Schiavone on commentary. What do you think of these commentators, Phil?
So immediately, I made a few observations about the show. Okay, observation number one, AEW is broadcasting at 60 frames per second while WWE is still doing the more cinematic 30. And immediately it feels like a throwback because back in the day, like in the 2000s, all the broadcasts were 60 frames. And then as things went HD, WWE downgraded to do 30 because they claimed that would give them like a more fancy presentation. But it strikes you as like the old days of watching this live on TV as opposed to the streaming service days. It really made me feel like this is more of an older school show. I had never heard Excalibur ever. Like, I had no idea what kind of commentary. And he speaks completely fluent English, but he's wearing the luchador mask. And it's so off-putting because it's like, wait, I'm so used to luchadors having like a heavy Mexican accent. And he is like so fluent. I'm like, oh my God. And then when it pans away, you forget that he's a luchador guy with the mask on because he's so well-spoken. I don't know. I guess Taz wasn't regularly part of their commentary team. He's returning, I guess. This is like his return night to the commentary. I remember him from back in the day from obviously WWE and even TNA doing commentary. So for me, that's kind of like it feels at home. Same thing, Tony Schiavone. I mean, this guy's been around for a million years doing this kind of commentary. So it's, again, Excalibur is like the new element, but it feels like a throwback presentation to me. Like this is an older show. They're going for kind of nostalgia vibes because they've got these guys who've been around for so long. They've got the 60 frames going. But the one thing that stood out to me, for some reason, their microphones, and I guess maybe I got to take the razzing here because our mics are fucked up today too. But their microphones are like way sharp, like really sharp compared to WWE. Like WWE commentators seem more smooth and deep. And these guys are like sharp, crisp, and it kind of, at first it's jarring, but then you get used to it. But it just the presentation from the get-go when they start talking feels like a completely different product than what WWE is putting out.
There is a big contrast there. I don't even think Excalibur is Hispanic, to tell you the truth.
I didn't know that.
I don't think he is. He looks pretty yeah, I guess it's hard to tell with the mask on. I've always thought it was goofy as fuck. And the thing is, it's not like it's Rey Mysterio or anybody knows. This guy, from what I understand, wrestled in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla for a few years. He was in WG, and he's just like an indie, like spot monkey, jobber, bum. His commentary is very polarizing because he uses a lot of insider terms and stuff. I do appreciate that he calls the moves. Like, he says what the moves actually are, whereas in WWE, a lot of the time, they don't call out the moves. And so I kind of feel almost like if you were to start watching WWE like today or 5 or 10 years ago, you wouldn't even know what half of the moves are fucking called.
Probably, right.
WWE. So I do like that aspect of it, but I find him to be kind of cringe, and he always is doing references to the indies and stuff like that. The show is coming from, I wrote this down, the Andrew J. Brady Music Center in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Andrew J. Brady Music Center. I wrote the setup is super low rent and small. It's a tiny venue. I counted 30 people in the upper deck from the hard cam side. I counted 30 people. It seems like this might be less than 1,000 people total.
Wow.
It didn't always used to be like this. They actually drew tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And I wrote the Intuit Dome, this is not. This is not WWE's presentation. And your overall take on this, it feels like the Impact Zone. It feels like a TNA taping from back in the day, doesn't it?
It does. The entire vibe of the show feels like a throwback, feels like there was no progress in the last 15 years that took wrestling to the production value level that WWE has taken it. And, if they were really trying to be serious about competing, maybe what Tony Khan is thinking is, well, this is differentiation or differentiation, whatever the fucking word is. He wants it to be different from WWE rather than trying to copy, but it just really does feel like a major step down.
It just doesn't look cool. Like, there's indie shows that run special venues. For instance, AEW was in Hammerstein Ballroom a few weeks ago, and it looked terrible. But when ECW used to run the Hammerstein Ballroom, like when WWE ran it for ECW One Night Stand back in 2005, 2006, it was hype, and they packed it full of people. They probably broke the fire code and the fire marshal's rules, and it was a great presentation. Or like shows like Bloodsport, like GCW Bloodsport, that has more of like a shoot style presentation. There were shows that they did where it was a smaller venue, but they dressed it up, like they made it look like Mortal Kombat kind of and stuff like this.
That's cool.
There are cool smaller venues that you can run. Like Karate Combat is like a kind of like it's a UFC type thing, but they do karate. but they do all sorts of cool green screen graphics at their small venues to make it look like they're fighting in a video game. There's things you can do with a smaller crowd, like Paul Heyman says, accentuate the positive, hide the negative. But they kind of accentuated the negative when they open the show and they're filming this like empty fucking music hall that looked low rent and shitty. They're like not even trying to hide what it is. And it's not good. It's just, it looks cheap and fucking shitty, dude.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is not what this company used to be. And I'm going to try and defend them as much as I can. But they really don't deserve to be defended right now. They've really fallen off bad. I also noticed, did you notice that Shivani looked super depressed in that opening shot?
Yeah.
I wrote down, Shivani looks really depressed, like he wants to blow his fucking brains out. I don't know, he was like openly frowning to start the show, and I'm like, this is a weird fucking vibe, isn't it?
I wonder, maybe because it was Taz came back, and maybe it's taken away some of his steam as being one of the announcers, you know, now that Taz is back. I don't know, because again, I haven't seen AEW previous, so I don't know what it was like, what the vibe was like with him working with Excalibur or whatever. And maybe he was afraid, oh man, now I'm not going to be able to talk as much because we got this guy back again, this dinosaur or whatever. But it's hilarious because I mean, he's a dinosaur too. He's been around for so long.
Yeah. Or Taz in TNA, he would always perv on the women and he'd go, let the pigeons loose.
Yes.
I don't even know what that means. I guess it meant to fucking pull down your fly and start jerking it or what? But, okay, so it starts off, we get a promo package for the Death Riders. What did you think of this, Phil, like as a brand new fan or a brand new watcher?
It's confusing because I remember when Moxley left WWE and he came to AEW and he was a top guy, and I haven't watched it since. You know, I don't know anything about his plot lines or whatever. So I guess he's in this group of guys who I guess, like you had explained it to me last week, that they feel like the newcomers are not worthy, and so they're trying to like take the company hostage, you know, only for worthy people. Like even the title, right? They won't even show anyone the title belt anymore. It's in a briefcase or whatever. Like you're not worthy to see this shit unless you earn the honor of seeing it. I don't think it's a bad stable or plot line, but as a newcomer coming in, if you hadn't explained it to me last week, I would have had no idea what the hell was going on. So I'm glad that you gave me that kind of preface. But, you know, we'll talk more about it when the match.
I have written in my notes, Moxley looks like a bloated old alcoholic because he is.
Well, isn't that what he's going for? Like, isn't that actually what his character is meant to, like, be at this point?
It's not just his character, Phil. So Moxley actually had to take a break and go to rehab because he was a full-blown alcoholic.
Oh, wow.
And then I got Moxley's book. So I have the Mox book. And on page 2 of the book, he just admits to smoking crack. So I'm only like, I just got it this morning. I read like 20 pages before I started the show. And literally on page 2, I'll just read for you briefly
what
he says. He goes, don't smoke crack. I'll describe it for you now, just so curiosity doesn't get the better of you. It's like doing a whippet and eating wasabi at the same time. Still, if you really just love smoking crack and that's your thing, I won't stop you. Now, this is bold of him to just assume that everybody has done whippets. You know? He's like, yeah, you know, like, I know there's some people out there who haven't tried smoking crack, but, you know, the basic framework for everybody is whippets, and it's like doing a whippet and snorting wasabi. This book is cringe as fuck, by the way. Like, everything he writes down is just fucking insane. And I have no idea if he wrote this, if it was ghostwritten, if he dictated it into a tape. But I might highlight some sections and bring it to the show over the next couple fucking days.
Someone, yes, his role model must be Nick Rekieta, right?
Yeah, exactly right. So they set up the promo for Powerhouse Hobbs versus Mox. I say I have zero faith in Hobbs winning. People are desperate for Mox to lose. They're begging for him to lose the belt. Tony's not listening. Okay. First match, Brian Cage versus Kenny Omega.
Yes.
What did you think here, Phil?
Well, this was weird for me because you got to understand, I've never seen Kenny Omega actually wrestle in a match. I've seen highlights of him wrestling on social media, but I've never seen a match. I've never seen Brian Cage wrestle in a match. I've only seen highlights. So I'm going into it knowing who they are, but not knowing what they're going to do. And I mean, it didn't really surprise me. It's Brian Cage, the big burly dude who's a giant roided guy, trying to fight the limber guy who's bouncing all over the ring and trying to do spots and stuff like that. First of all, the initial observation I make, the music that they come out to in this promotion is fucking awful. It is just like the worst, shitty, generic, like some fucking teenager who is like moonlighting made this music or something. I don't know. It's so bad. None of the music stands out at all. The music that does stand out is Kenny Omega because it's just a bunch of like Japanese singing. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to be. Now, to my knowledge, Kenny Omega's a big video game fan, and so he likes to think that he's like some big promoter, like, oh, look at me, I like Street Fighter and I play Final Fantasy and shit. So he's got his moves are called the V trigger, which is a special move in Street Fighter 5. I don't know if you even knew that. And his finisher, the One-Winged Angel or whatever, which is what they call Sephiroth, the villain of Final Fantasy 7. And it's kind of like he's a great performer, but man, he's kind of nerdy too. I mean, it kind of comes through with all his shit like this. And he's probably the nicest guy in the world. I don't know, but it's just kind of hard to take it seriously when he thinks he's like a living video game character and he's got this kind of overblown entrance.
I'll say this, Phil, because he's hyped as the best wrestler in the world, like living today. Do you feel like he lived up to that expectation? Did you feel like it was the greatest thing you've ever seen?
In this match, no, but I have seen highlights of him in much better matches where he goes over the top crazy levels of athleticism and stuff. And I don't think that's what they were really going for in this match because
I'm really shocked because I'm sorry to cut you off.
That's okay.
I'm just shocked because Kenny, he's been hurt, man. And he's been
Yeah.
out for, I think, 13 months with this injury, diverticulitis.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. You notice they didn't explain it? Like, they kept saying diverticulitis, and I think it has something to do with the intestines. Like, they said, like, he had to remove his intestines.
Have to remove a portion of your intestines and stuff like this. And so I was just confused as to why they put Kenny in this match on free TV. Like, nobody wanted him to wrestle Brian Cage. This isn't a dream match. Cage is also, like, he's a big, strong guy. And I don't know if he has the greatest reputation for being safe. Like, so this is a match where he's risking injury for basically fucking nothing. I don't really know why this match needed to happen, why they're having their premiere. This is supposed to be their top guy in the company facing a guy that, Brian Cage has just been presented as a job guy, which I don't think is necessarily fair. Because I liked Brian Cage when he was in Impact Wrestling, TNA. I thought he had some good matches. I thought he had a good look. He's jacked. He does like a bunch of high-flying moves as well, even though he's a bigger guy. But they've just presented him as a fucking job guy. So at no point are you invested thinking Brian Cage is going to win this match. At no point does it even really make sense for this match to even fucking happen. I really want to like Kenny Omega. He's Canadian. I like the look that he has. He looked, seems like he's in better shape this time around. Like he put on some muscle and stuff like that. But I just have this belief that by the time Kenny Omega got to AEW, and especially now, he's just destroyed his body. He's just completely fucking sawdusted. He can't do the stuff that he used to do. And if he is doing that stuff, like he's really hurting himself. And I saw a lot of his run in AEW before, and I felt like a lot of it was really corny and lame. Like when he was champion and he had the Elite with him and the Young Bucks, it was a lot of like homoeroticism and like weird, like I'm not even saying like weird gay stuff where like they would have like shirtless portraits of Don Callis in Kenny Omega's house, where Don's on a horse shirtless, and, they're like putting his head in each other's crotches and doing all sorts of weird stuff there. So I've just never really got Kenny Omega. I want to like Kenny Omega, but, some different things, some points to make here. You notice there was a fuck Don Callis chant?
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't get that on WWE TV.
Right.
And that's one thing that is very different about this product is it's a bit edgier.
Yes.
It's a bit more adult-oriented. but I don't know how much it's really helping. You know, like it's not that crazy. You know, to where it's like, oh wow, this is so much better than WWE because you heard the F word. Like WWE is doing more with less.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, Kenny hits the one-winged angel, 1, 2, 3.
Well, I just want to say this. The stupid turning point of the match was so badly choreographed, okay? Brian Cage gets up on the turnbuckle for literally no reason. Like he wasn't even like going to perform a move that looked realistic. He just gets up there for no reason, leading Kenny to just suplex him off the turnbuckle, and then Kenny wins the match. It's like, wait, what? At least make it make sense. Like he fucked up a move on, you know, and then he took a reverse. I'm just going to climb for no reason. Like this match is going too long. We have to end it fast. Get up there so we can do the reversal and finish the match. So for me to try to get invested, it's hard when it didn't seem like a great match. It didn't seem like everyone's heart was in it. And like you said, maybe this is because Omega's returning from this big injury, and that's really what it was. But I didn't like the ending at all. I thought it was kind of a stupid way to end the match.
Yeah. Josh Burlinson here in chat, he has a good take. He goes, the problem with Kenny is he was great in New Japan, and then AEW jobbed him for a whole year before he finally started winning. That's what's crazy is these guys came in, and the Elite wanted to make it seem like they weren't like Hogan, or they weren't like selfish, and they did all these jobs, and they did all these losses, but they should have come in and won, because they were the stars of the company.
Right.
And it made them immediately feel like they weren't a big fucking deal. And I don't know why they presented Kenny Omega this way. And he was just fucking run down. And, you know, people say that his New Japan match that he had at Wrestle Kingdom was really good a couple weeks ago. And I'm sure it was a good match. But I feel like they should save him for big matches like that. If they're going to use him, have him wrestle only a few times a year, have him be the champion. I think the core fans would be more excited for it than Moxley, but whatever. I say it was a decent match. I give it 3 stars, but it's not anything mind-blowing. It's not way beyond WWE. Like, I remember when I first tuned into Ring of Honor and I watched it, it was so much further beyond anything I had seen in WWE. I was like, wow, this is really different. But now the quality of the in-ring matches in WWE has gone up to the point where this isn't really anything special or never been seen before. Do you know what I mean?
Right. You're right. With WWE for a while there, during that PG era, their matches were getting incredibly boring because everyone was so afraid of doing spots, and it was just the same 5 moves of doom shit. But now the production value, even to the matches, the choreography, the level of complexity of WWE matches has increased dramatically. And now when you go back to their competition, well, that's what they were known for, and now they've kind of lost their identity. I agree there.
Yeah. Then after Kenny wins, he gets jumped by Lance Archer. I wrote here, AEW really hasn't done anything with this guy since year 1. At one point, they had Jake the Snake Roberts as his manager.
Oh, really?
And I thought it might go somewhere, but... Oh my God. Are you right? Is that true, IDK, anymore?
Yeah, I see that too.
Just committed a school.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's fucking crazy. I'll probably cover that on the casino later. But they really never did anything with this guy. And then Kyle Fletcher jumps in. And then I wrote down, is Takeshita no longer a member of the Callis family or whatever his name is? But he came in later, so he was. Ospreay comes in for the save. Now they've really built up this Will Ospreay guy as like the savior of the company.
Okay.
I have Ospreay is wearing a soccer jersey / t-shirt with gym pants and looks like a regular guy you would see at the gas station or grocery store. Because isn't that what he looked like? You know what I mean?
It was bizarre. He runs in. Now, again, I'm a newcomer, right? I don't know. I know of this guy from social media. Like a few years ago, everyone was building him up like he was going to be the next hot thing in pro wrestling. And then I kind of stopped following social media, so I didn't know anything about him. I didn't even know he was in AEW at this point. And he runs in. I'm like, oh, he's in there. This is cool. And you're right. He runs in. He looks like he was in the locker room, like working out or something. And he just happens to hit the ring. And he saves Omega. And they go, he hit the hidden blade. I said, he hit the what? The Hidden Blade?
The Hidden Blade
Are
from
you-
Assassin's Creed.
Are you
Phil.
fucking kidding me? Is everyone in this company a fucking video game nerd? Like, they all have stupid video game names for their moves. Just call it the fucking Face Destroyer, the Knee Crusher. No, the Hidden Blade. Like, come
They
on.
had this guy at a pay-per-view come out dressed as the Assassin's Creed character from the Japanese one that's coming up, and they did a big product placement for it. So I don't know. Then Takashita comes out, and the Callis family beat them down. They leave them laying. There's fuck off Callis chants. That's basically all there was to that segment. Then there was like a Hurt Syndicate promo. What did you think of this, Phil? The Hurt Syndicate backstage MVP.
They are literally identical to when they were in WWE. They haven't even tried to change, which I guess a lot of people liked the Hurt business in WWE, and so it's good to see them if they're thriving in another promotion because WWE dropped the ball. But you know, I felt like I was teleported back, like, you know, how many years, 3-4 years, or how many years it was that they were in WWE. Except they don't have one of the guys. I can't remember which one is missing. They've got 3 out of the 4.
Yeah, there's the one guy I think is still over in WWE. Was it Cedric Alexander?
Yeah. That's him.
I think his name is something like that. You know, I thought it was a cool little backstage. He's in like some sort of private bar, and it shows off his watch and his jewelry and all this stuff. I always like MVP. I like Lashley. I like Shelton Benjamin. It's cool to see them. But doesn't it give a TNA vibe?
Absolutely.
Doesn't it have the stink of, by God, TNA, you know, so-and-so is in the impact zone. You know, it just feels like they're, you know, it's now becoming this like retirement home for washed up WWE guys, just like TNA was.
Exactly right. And, you know, if you remember in mid-2000s TNA, as soon as people were leaving WWE, first it was Angle, then it was Booker T, it was everyone. It was like the door was wide open, revolving door of these guys coming in. Christian Cage became the face of the company for a while. And now you go, okay, what's on AEW? I've never seen it before. It's all fucking WWE guys that were gone from WWE. It's like the same thing. Like, why did they go that route? I don't know. I could see, like, if it's the first time it's been done, okay, maybe they're learning. There's no track record. We've seen TNA do this and fail. So how did you not learn from the predecessor who tried this strategy?
No, and it's not like there haven't been a million videos breaking down exactly why TNA failed and why TNA died. And now, as Lady Charisma's pointing out in chat, TNA had a bigger crowd at their Genesis pay-per-view than AEW had.
Are they seriously? Wow. I didn't know that.
They had a way bigger and more energetic crowd than AEW had on this taping, to the point now where Meltzer is freaking out because people, Bully Ray and others, are trying to say TNA is now the number 2 promotion again, and AEW has fallen off, which isn't necessarily the case. But I do think it's funny seeing Meltzer seethe about that and melt down like he was yesterday. Yeah, TNA is kind of on a bit of a comeback, and I was kind of planning on maybe doing a review of it, maybe like a solo video or something for the channel, just to check in on TNA and see how they're doing. Then we had a Chris Jericho promo backstage. What did you think of this, Phil, the Jericho promo?
I'm confused because to spoil a little bit, I had actually seen Collision this week as well, so I kind of got my answers. But just seeing this promo, the Learning Tree group, and I'm looking, it's him and Big Cass. Of course, he's not called Big Cass anymore, and I forget who the third guy is. And they're in this group, and it's just bizarre. Like, I'm like, what are they going for here? Is this humor? Are they heels? I couldn't even read like what they're going for. And like you said, it seems like he's been there since the beginning of AEW. And he's just kind of doing whatever he wants, which I guess is fine. But are the people into this? Like, I didn't read it as something that people really like.
Fans have really turned on Jericho. He's really old at this point. I feel like he's had a good final run, a good send-off. You know, he's in his 50s. He's looking old. He's looking fat. He's looking bloated. There was a time where there was an NBA game that wrapped up and it led right into AEW. And the NBA fans on Twitter, they saw Jericho for the first time in like 20 years. And they're like, Jericho looks like that now? And they're calling him like, you know, all sorts of names, making fun of Jericho.
Wow.
So, I don't know. He has the ROH title belt, which I think is stupid as fuck. Like, Ring of Honor is a dead company. It's a dead promotion. Why are we still having all these different title belts from promotions that don't even exist anymore?
Yeah.
There's no prestige to this belt.
You had
It's
said
weird.
it a couple weeks ago. You had told me when we first started talking about AEW and the possibility of watching it, and you were like, everyone has a belt and they don't mean anything. It's confusing. Dude, every fucking person in this promotion has a belt. And I'm like, what is the Continental, the not Continental, the trios, the doubles, the fucking, you know, the corner fucking Wendy's fries and fucking chili title. Like, what are these titles? I don't even know what they're supposed to be representing. And why does he have a Ring of Honor title? We're not watching Ring of Honor. What the fuck is going on?
So like, AEW bought Ring of Honor and they wanted to keep it as a separate company for I don't know what reason. They tried to get a TV deal for it. They couldn't get a TV deal for it. Now there's like the Honor Club where you pay $10 a month to watch this jobber promotion where, and like I went to some AEW tapings and they basically, after the matches, they beg you to stay for another hour to watch Ring of Honor and everybody just fucking leaves.
Wow.
So then they're like in a half empty fucking, well, you know, it's already half empty to fucking begin with and it gets even smaller. And I don't know, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Then we got Ricochet. Oh, yeah, you know, this cringy, like, Wheeler is a kneeler promo with Jericho. I don't know. It all just, it's just lame. Then we got Ricochet coming out. What did you think of this, Phil? It was a very apathetic reaction to Ricochet. It didn't seem like anyone cared at all.
Yeah, once again, he comes out and his music is so fucking bad. Like, I remember the song from WWE, dun 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 dun, and that was like energetic. He comes out, it's like, oh my God, it kills the momentum of seeing who it is coming out when the music is so fucking bad. And he comes out, and I guess it's between him and Swerve Strickland. And I know Swerve at one point was really big in AEW. I don't know if he still is at this point or not. And you're right. Like, it seemed like they wanted people to care, but it didn't seem like the crowd really cared about him. Now, I don't know if he's just debuting or if he's been in TNA, or excuse me, I almost said TNA instead of AEW.
I know, right?
So I don't know if he's been there before or not, but I didn't get the feeling like this was a hype segment. This felt like a very mid-card segment of just filler content, and I don't know if that's what they were going for or not.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, people on Twitter are saying, I haven't watched a whole lot of Ricochet. I think he's been there for a couple months now.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, he's working on an Andrew Tate gimmick.
Oh, no.
It's like, bro, you're not him. You don't have the charisma to pull that. Say what you want about Andrew Tate, but he is a highly charismatic, highly entertaining guy. Ricochet can barely string 3 sentences together. You know, I write, he has goofy glasses on. He looks retarded in his suit. He has scissors in his pocket for no reason. Did you notice this? I don't know why he had scissors in his pocket.
Yeah.
I wrote, the general atmosphere is nobody gives a fuck. There are some light boos. Ricochet takes forever to talk.
Yeah,
Finally,
way too long. Way too long of a
He
segment.
gets some heat by, you know, taking so long to talk. He finally talks. I said he has a squeaky, pathetic virgin voice. It's auto failure. He says a picture is worth 1,000 words. And then he shows this photo of him beating up a bloody Swerve Strickland. It kind of gave like serial killer vibes, I guess. I don't know. I go, is
Bizarre.
this really the best feud they could do for Swerve? Coming off his title run and his big feud with Hangman Page. I mean, Swerve Strickland was, you know, one of the most promising guys in this company, and his world title run didn't really go anywhere. You know, and he had a big feud with Hangman, and now he's stuck in this shitty feud with Ricochet. I don't think it's really going to go anywhere good. Prince Nana jumps him from behind with a chair. I wrote, Buddy's got punked out by a 45-year-old manager. Like, you know, the manager is whooping fucking Ricochet's ass. Then Swerve beats him with a chain and Ricochet runs away. That was the segment.
Wow. Very entertaining.
I don't know. I didn't think it was that great. Then we got Sasha Banks promo package. What did you think of this? Did you see this, Phil?
I did, and it was, again, confusing. Last time I saw her, she was called Sasha Banks in WWE. I know she had the big falling out where her and Naomi left, and then she came, I guess she did indie stuff for a while, and now she's in AEW. Good for her. I'm glad that she's finding success somewhere else, because it did feel like kind of when she was in WWE, she was part of the Four Horsewomen, but she was always the one that kind of like took the back seat to people like Charlotte constantly. It was Charlotte, fucking Charlotte, endlessly. But I don't know. I haven't seen enough. Like, that promo was good, but I don't know what she's going to be doing. I don't know if how good her ring work is, how good her character is. I guess we'll see when she's back on in a major plot line, but it was good to see her doing something.
She's going by Mercedes Moné now, which I guess is an okay name.
Well, her real name is Mercedes, correct? I think that's her real first name.
So. But I wrote, she has 4 equally worthless belts, none of which are the world championship.
She had 4 belts? I didn't even notice that.
4 belts. She has, like, the TBS title, which is an AEW title. She has a New Japan title. She has a Rev Pro title, which is some British company. And then she has the Southside Chicago Championship. And it's like, how, like, nobody cares about any of this shit. Ugh. They show her, like, buying jewelry and that she's wealthy. Apparently, Tony Khan, these are the reports, I can't believe he got fleeced this bad, is apparently paying her $10 million a year.
What?
Which would make her, like, one of, if not the highest paid wrestlers.
Yeah.
And she's not a needle mover like that. And they've really gone all in on trying to push her. Every time I see her on AEW TV, there's hardly any reaction to her. Huh. Her promos have been really flat, really bad. The matches she's been in are okay, but for the amount of hype and money and attention and presentation and sending her around the world that they've put into her, I don't think they're getting a very good return on investment at all.
Oh, that's insane. Do you think even the top women in WWE are getting paid $10 million a year? I don't know.
No, I don't know if anybody in their company is even getting paid that, but Tony is such a mark, and he's just got unlimited money from his dad that he's just throwing it around like crazy, like he's fucking running a charity or something like that. Yeah, correction, Tony's dad is paying $10 million. Then we got Hurt Syndicate versus Private Party and Mark Briscoe.
Yes.
I wrote Private Party are the champs now? What a fucking joke. These guys are like the Diet Young Bucks, like Young Bucks at home. I don't think they've ever had a memorable match or feud or promo that I've seen in all the years that they've been in the company. The tag belts, though, I think look really good. What do you think, Phil? What did you think of these entrances, these performers?
Again, Hurt Syndicate seems dead on how they were in WWE, which I'm okay with. Like, I think they were good in WWE. Mark Briscoe, it was good to see him. You know, still, I've been out of wrestling for a while, and when his brother passed away, I think that was shocking to everyone. And to see that he's getting pushes still in promotion and stuff, and he's a good wrestler. I have never seen Private Party before, so this is my first exposure. I agree with you. They do seem kind of like a Young Bucks style, fast-paced kind of spots and, you know, flying around a little bit, but I didn't really understand their characters from the match. Maybe if I had been watching the show longer, I would have understood who they're supposed to be. The biggest note I took during this match, they have way too many ads on this goddamn show. There's like a ridiculous amount of advertisements trying to watch AEW, and they must have cut the 4 fucking ad breaks or something insane during this match. It's like I couldn't follow the story of the match because it was like, here's a stupid ad, I'm fast forwarding, come on. And it's different, you know, with WWE now on Netflix, the ads are either catered to WWE or they're very quick. Here it's like very annoying to have to keep getting broken up by this bullshit. And I liked the match, but at the same time, it just kind of felt like a mid-card match. I didn't feel like there was stakes. I didn't feel like it was anything special. You know, it was good to see some of these guys again, like Hurt Syndicate, to come out. And I think it was Benjamin. Did he get the win? I think with a suplex and something. And that was good to see.
I don't know. I just never got into this match. Like a super kick for the finish. Like
Right.
Shelton Benjamin won with a super kick for the finish. And it's like the super kick has been totally buried in AEW. Like, I don't mind. Like, Sweet Chin Music, Shawn Michaels, it was a great finish. Loved it. But
Right.
now every match in both WWE and AEW has these super kicks all the time where they trade super kicks, 20, 30 super kicks in a match to the point where the move's been so buried, I was shocked. It was the fucking finish. Lashley was barely in the match.
Yeah.
Like, Lashley was in it for like 2 seconds.
They were trying to really hype up MVP coming back into the ring, and he got a lot of ring time. And honestly, I didn't really notice that he hasn't been wrestling. Like, he seemed to not really skip a beat here, which was good. But I agree with you. Like, there's nothing in this match that was like, what's the memorable moment of the match? I can't even think of a memorable moment that's like, oh, that was a really good match because of that. It just felt kind of like a filler, and the ads just killed it for me where I couldn't stay focused on it.
And then you have the tag champs just get beat like that.
Right.
They're supposed to be the tag team champions, and they just lose like super quick. Like, just get dominated basically on TV and jobbed out. So it just doesn't seem like there's any credibility to them as champions whatsoever. So I gave it 2 stars. What would you give it, Phil?
Yeah, out of 5, probably I would give it around a 2 or maybe 2.25, just because MVP was getting there and back and he was doing a good job, but it just was not a very great match in my opinion.
Then Jeff Jarrett comes.
Oh God, this was definitely the low point
on all of it, Phil, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
This was the low point of the show for me because, you know, back in the day, I used to watch TNA when it was brand spanking new and hype, and Jarrett was the face of the company, the king of the mountain and everything. And to see that he's still around, I had no clue he was in AEW. So this was shocking to me to see him coming out. I was like, oh my God, he's here. And he's old. All right. To me, he's kind of feeling now like Ric Flair was when Ric Flair wouldn't leave and he just kept hanging around and wanted to be involved and shit. Not that he's that broken down like Ric Flair was, but still, like, he's not looking good. And his promos aren't nearly as good as they used to be. And it's him versus MJF in this promo. And they're going back and forth. And MJF has energy and he's charismatic and he's got that charisma. And then you go back to Double J and he's trying with the material. But it just, to me, felt like he was lame. Like, it was just a really depressing segment, seeing that this guy sadly can't really hold up to the modern talent anymore. And to me, it was like, dang, it went way too long, by the way. This went like real long. It was like the big promo of the show. And I didn't get that feeling like it really did what they thought it was going to do for this feud. And so many Owen Hart references too. And listen, I loved Owen Hart in the 90s. I thought he was one of the best wrestlers of the time. It was insanely tragic when we lost him. Why are we still fucking bringing this up in like 2025? Like, you know,
what I mean? It's like one of the darkest stains on the wrestling business, him dying, and just to be constantly reminded of, just so you know, they every year now have an Owen Hart Memorial Tournament.
Oh,
With
okay.
an Owen Hart championship belt and trophy that they give out for the men and the women. And why Jeff Jarrett is now back on TV is he was supposedly, and I think it's true, really best friends with Owen Hart back in the day. So they did a big storyline where he wanted to win the Owen Hart Cup for his friend. And he got a lot of support behind him, and the fans bought into it to a degree, but then he ended up falling short. And now what they're doing is they're trying to do this like John Cena, like one more title run for Jeff Jarrett. But Jeff Jarrett ain't him.
Right.
Jeff Jarrett's not John Cena.
Right.
You're saying about Jeff Jarrett broke 1,000 guitars and never drew a fucking dime. It's true. Nobody ever really gave a shit about Jeff Jarrett. And I'm saying that as somebody who likes Jeff Jarrett a lot more than most people like Jeff Jarrett. Like, I appreciate what a carny Jeff Jarrett is, what a swindler, what a con man he is.
He is that era. He's a remnant of that era, and you got to respect that. You have to. You know?
And he comes from, you know, that Memphis wrestling lineage and all that stuff. And his father was a promoter and, you know, he ran TNA. But immediately it's the stink of TNA is on this product. And it's the last thing that AEW should be doing is putting Jeff Jarrett on TV in 2025. It doesn't matter that he's one of the best talkers that they have, which is sad that this is one of the best promos that they have. It's sad MJF at one point was the breakout star of this company. And he had a really good run, Phil, where he was a really good heel. He was cutting really good promos. He was really hyped up to be the next big thing. And then they just fucking botched it. That devil storyline was fucking rotten, Phil. They kept him feuding with Adam Cole way too fucking long. He's totally ice cold now. It's just, it starts off like MJF says that the true legacy of Jeff Jarrett is he's the last thing you see before your company dies. Why would you say this?
I know.
This is a total burial of the entire company. It's like, you know that you work for AEW, MJF.
Right.
And we know that you've signed this massive 5 or 7 year deal now. You locked in long term. It used to be he had a gimmick where he teased he was going to go to WWE. It was going to be the great bidding war of 2024, and he should have went to WWE. I think he really, really regrets not going, especially seeing what they've done with Cody now and what they're doing with Pentagon now. MJF really would have, he's a WWE type wrestler. He's a promo wrestler. He would have done great, and they would have given him a good push. But now he's sitting here with Jeff Jarrett. He calls Jeff Jarrett an alcoholic. He's talking about Jeff's wife. And this is the thing about MJF is he's so reliant on these shoot promos, on all this insider stuff, and he always has to. And it's like, bro, you don't have to do this, nor can you, nor should you. Every single promo rely on all this shoot stuff. And just being reminded, by the way, about Karen Jarrett and how Jeff stole Kurt's wife from him. Like, that was the dark day in wrestling. And it's like, I really don't like seeing her on TV at all because I don't like what happened with Kurt Angle. I like Kurt Angle. I think it's fucked. The promo, it went on a really long time.
Way too long. I was getting so bored, and I was like, dude, it's depressing. I actually was getting depressed by the end of it. I was like, can we just go to something else or actually have them fight instead of just these two guys talking for so long and just kind of showing off what I'm thinking is probably going to become the Achilles heel of this company, is that they've got guys like Jarrett still being pushed to the forefront. MJF, who used to be the face of the company, now in this position, it just makes them look bad.
Yeah, I enjoyed it because I like these promo battles, and I wish that AEW would do more promo battles, but I guess this is one of those examples as to why they don't, because it just didn't really work, and I don't think anybody's invested in this. Anybody really cares. I feel like it's a waste of MJF. I think he did cut a good promo. I think Jarrett did the best with what he could do, but this just shouldn't be happening. It just shouldn't be happening. Texas Death Match promoted between Hangman and Christopher Daniels on Collision. I just wrote why.
Why? And if you saw the match, you'll still ask why, because I saw the match.
So I guess this is Christopher Daniels' last match, and he's retiring after this match.
Wow.
But they didn't bill it as a retirement match. Christopher Daniels hadn't been seen on TV in years. They didn't do any sort of angle towards it. There's no build at all. And it's a Texas death match. Why? I don't get it. I just don't understand what the fuck they're doing. It's just for no rhyme or reason whatsoever. And Fat Chick Thriller in chat's right. Like, what does this feud do for MJF? They're saying Daniels is a producer. Why? Why did this have to happen? I don't know. He wanted a retirement match on a random Collision in January 2025 for no reason. Okay. Then they promoted Ishii versus Okada. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, it was so weird because Okada, I had heard so much about, the Rainmaker, right? And he was a big shit over in Japan. Again, I haven't watched AEW. I didn't know he was part of AEW. And they're like, oh, it's a match. He has a title, another title. Oh, what is this? The Continental Championship now or something?
Continental Championship, which again, they do another tournament for it because they want to be Japan so bad. But I question whether Tony Khan has even ever watched New Japan or if he just like read on the internet that it was cool, because he doesn't know how to present these Japanese guys at all. Every single one of these guys that he gets from New Japan are presented like a fucking joke. And the American audience doesn't know them. All of these indie fans that go to AEW events pretend like they watch New Japan and they're so with it, but none of them know who these people are. None of them react to them. It's all bullshit. It's all a bunch of guys huffing their own farts, pretending like they watch Japanese wrestling when they really fucking don't. And I just wrote, like, the story of this is Ishii topped the belt. And now they're going to have a match on Collision. And it's just like, what a fucking waste this is of Okada. What a waste this is of Ishii. It's just a waste of everybody's fucking time. And, you know, JEC is right. Okada is overhyped. You know, I've not seen anything from him in AEW that justifies this godly reputation that he has. I think for him, he's basically washed up, he's ready to retire, and he's there to cash a fucking paycheck on Tony Khan's dime, and he doesn't give a fuck. He'll do whatever. That's my opinion. Like, I know a lot of people, oh, no, it's so good. Well, it hasn't been very good, in my opinion.
Right. I don't know anything about either of these guys because I've never seen them wrestle before. Well, they did wrestle on Collision, but I've never seen them wrestle before this promo. And the feeling I got was kind of like back in the day in WWE. They would hire a bunch of luchadors, but they didn't really know who they were. They would just hire them, and then they would just have them wrestle each other week after week. And it was like, it's almost like their own mini division of like, what are they doing that for? And then they did it again with the cruiserweights. They hired a ton of cruiserweight wrestlers and they had their own show and everything, but they never really had a chance to shine or interact with the main roster. We just wanted to have like diversification. So it seems like they hired Okada, they hired this guy. Well, they're Japanese wrestlers, don't you know? New Japan. So they're going to wrestle each other. Big deal. But where do they fit in with the product? Where do they fit in with everything you're doing? Or did you just want to have another group of people who everyone said was good wrestling each other? I didn't get a feeling that there was any substance to it whatsoever. And like these guys could just easily be swept under the rug if they want to, but if they don't perform or they don't get a rise out of anyone.
Yeah. Now, some people in chat, like Yukai saying Okada versus Bryan Danielson was great. But there's pretty much nobody that's not going to have a great match with Bryan Danielson.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And then Lady Charisma is arguing, you know, well, Okada had a good match with Ospreay. You know, I'm sure that they did, but it's like there's these odd, like, dream matches that they throw together, but there's no real investment in it. It's just matches where guys are doing moves, and it always feels the fucking same. It feels like they're all interchangeable, all of these Japanese wrestlers, and this for me is like an average American. And I try and watch New Japan. I try and watch the other wrestling. I still don't really get it. Then we got Christian Cage versus Hook. I liked Hook jumped Christian from behind right away. You know, there was a story to this. Like Hook wanted revenge for Christian injuring Taz. You know, I thought the brawl they had on the outside was pretty good. I gave my thoughts here about Hook. What do you think about Hook, Phil?
I would say Hook. Well, first of all, Hook's been in AEW now for a few years, correct? He's Taz's son. And I think he had a lot of hype behind him at first. Remember, he had like, again, when I was following social media, it seemed like everyone loved him. Like he was a really cool starter character or whatever, you know, when he debuted. I don't know what they've done with him in the last few years. So I don't know if he's a big guy or not, or if he ever held a title. But it's weird because like he feels like he could be his dad, but he's so skinny, you know, and that's not his fault. That's just his body type. You know what I mean? Like
that's what I have written on my notes. Hook needs to get on steroids. He needs to put on a bit more size. And I think he's still a bit too young and baby-faced. I think he's probably a few years away from being a serious main eventer. But I like Hook. I've always liked Hook. And I like his moveset. I like the suplexes he does. I like the submission moves. I like Christian Cage a lot also. I honestly thought this was probably the match that I was most interested in throughout the night, honestly. And by the way, in chat, they're bringing up a really good point about New Japan. Like, New Japan has been pilfered by AEW. AEW took all their stars, gave them nothing in return, and now, like, New Japan is in, like, the dark ages. And it feels like AEW has killed independent wrestling. 10, 15 years ago, there was a thriving independent scene.
Yeah.
Tons of different promotions, all competing in America, in England, in Japan. There was a lot of alternatives to WWE. And if you didn't like one, there was another one that you could go to. Now it feels like AEW stole all the fucking talent, just left them with fucking nothing. And now they're the only alternative in town. Like, that's the view that I've had. And it's brutal. Like, I just feel like it's brutal. I feel like AEW actually, people say the competition was good, but I feel like AEW killed competition, at least on the lower level, and they're honestly making wrestling worse in a lot of ways. Anyway, this Hook versus Christian match. Go ahead.
A little over a decade ago, I went to see WrestleMania. It was the WrestleMania that was the New York, New Jersey crossover where it was The Rock versus John Cena, the first time they had, like, the main event. And while I was there, we went and we saw an independent Ring of Honor show in the Hammerstein Ballroom. And it was so fun to see an indie promotion do things differently. It felt refreshing. That was when the Briscoes were coming up and stuff like that. And it was really cool to get that vibe. Now you watch AEW, but you don't get that vibe. You get, like, this is not indie. This is not an alternative. This is TNA again, just doing the same shit. It doesn't feel like it's something that you would want to watch instead of WWE. You know what I mean? Like, Ring of Honor felt like that. When I saw it in person, I felt refreshed and interested. New kind of presentation, different kinds of wrestling. You don't get that with AEW. I don't even know what they're going for at this point. Like, they're not a substitute for WWE. They're not on that level. And if they're eating up all the other promotions, then what purpose are they serving in the landscape of wrestling? I'm getting very confused the more that we're talking and learning about that.
Yeah. Finish of the match, Hook locks in his red rum choke, but then...
stupid DQ. I hate endings like this. I do. Just give me a real ending, man. Everyone jumps in and interferes, and then you have to have 17 run-ins and everything to stop it at the end. It's like, come on.
Isn't that an old TNA criticism, that every match would have a DQ finish or a cheap finish or heel interference? Like,
yep. Just like that was an old WCW criticism in the 90s. It's like the same mistake keeps getting remade every decade by a new cup promotion. They don't learn from everyone else before them for some bizarre reason.
You know, I give the match 3 stars. I really like Hook and Christian, but I feel like the match could have been a bit better with a good finish, but the feud will continue. Then Samoa Joe returns to save Hook from the beatdown. It's cool to see Joe, but Joe's fucking old now, man.
I'm sad for Joe, man, because I watched TNA during the era of the 3 homegrown guys. It was AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Christopher Daniels, and they were the face of that kind of X division, and they really pushed the company to new heights during that time when they were trying to get all the old WWE guys. These were the guys that were exciting to watch in TNA. And then Joe kind of got bounced around a lot. Then he went to WWE, and it felt like he was going to get that push. He was going to beat Brock Lesnar for the title, and it was going to be so hype. And then WWE dropped the ball with him, and it's like, damn, that didn't happen. And now he's in AEW. It's like, is anything ever going to happen for this guy? Because he is a great wrestler. And I feel bad that, like, he's never really got that time to shine. What can you even say he got one great run where he really got a push? I feel like he's always been right there, and then you see him come out to save. It's like, what are they going to do with him? It's AEW. What are they going to do with him? Anything? I don't know.
He got the world title last year in December. He had a short little run with the world title. That was kind of a transitional reign, which I was happy to see that for him. But honestly, his best run was in TNA. When he first came into TNA as the Samoan submission machine, and he had the win streak, and he had the match with Kurt Angle. And that was really when TNA felt the most viable as a competitor, was when Kurt Angle came in. You had Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe feuding, and great matches with AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels and Joe. And, it's just TNA, honestly, to me, kind of deserves an apology now. Because honestly, when I go back and watch a lot of that old TNA, I'm way more entertained by it, even though it was
Yeah.
a dumpster fire, than I was by this AEW. It just feels totally dead, and like there's no creativity, nothing really interesting or crazy happening. It just feels like boring.
What
Very
it is
boring and cheap.
what it is TNA, even though they weren't great, had moments of greatness. They had good people in that company, great matches. And it was overshadowed when the time when I stopped doing Smark guys around 2014, TNA was at like their low point. They were awful. It was unwatchable crap. And every week my co-host and I would razz on the company and be like, this shit sucks. We don't want to watch it anymore. We did. We actually stopped watching it for a while because we couldn't stand it. But what's happened is because TNA sunk so low, it allowed another company like AEW to come in and say, oh, well, now we're going to have that competition again with WWE. But now we forgot that TNA actually was good at one point, and it allowed AEW to make the same mistakes again. So I agree with you. There was an era at TNA that I actually genuinely enjoyed. Even when they had shit segments, they still had great wrestlers and great matches, and it made it fun. It's just a shame that it degraded itself around that 2010s, 2014s time. And now AEW's back to making that same mistake again a decade later.
Then we had Jeff Jarrett back for more screen time with Goldust.
Yes.
And, Goldust does this pep talk. It's pretty high energy. Like, it's a good promo. But I just wrote, wouldn't it be better if he was in WWE to assist in Cody's storylines? Like, what? Why is he still wrestling? I don't know. I feel like he's kind of wasted in AEW at this point. I saw he has both an ROH six-man title and an ROH tag team title. So where or when this gets defended or why anybody would care, I have no fucking idea. It just seems like a big joke.
To me, doesn't it feel like he got duped? Like he got duped by Cody to come over to AEW, and he did, and then Cody says bye, and he goes back to WWE.
Main event WrestleMania and be the champion, and you stay over here in this fucking shitty promotion. I'm sure he's getting paid very well for doing very little, which is basically what everybody in AEW is getting right now, like massive money they wouldn't get anywhere else to do very little. But is it actually a good promotion for the fans, or is it entertaining, or are they being used? Probably no. But the good thing, I guess, is that guys are getting paid and they don't have to do a whole lot. Then we had the women's casino gauntlet match. Phil.
Now, this is your match. This is the one you were waiting for.
Oh, fuck no. There's Mariah May on commentary. Toni Storm. So Toni Storm had this gimmick, Phil, where she was timeless Toni Storm.
Okay.
So she believed that she was a 1920s film star. And all of her promos were in black and white. And she had a butler named Luther. And it was interesting. When it first started out, I was like, okay, this is something different. They finally have a character. They have a storyline. I really didn't think it ended up going really anywhere that good. But there was like a feud with Mariah May was her helper, and then switched on her and ended up winning the title. Well, now they have Toni Storm doing this gimmick where
amnesia.
She has amnesia and she thinks she's a rookie. And, I don't know. I think they should have just kept with the timeless Toni Storm thing. Some fans were liking it and into it. Like, Yukai says it was actually over. I don't know. Like, this match to me was just dog shit. I didn't care about it at all. I thought it was sloppy as fuck. Like, Toni Storm hitting these infinite snap mares.
Have they ever done a casino match like this that was good? Because the way I see it, how do you have an opportunity to really showcase what you can do when they're all coming out and, it's like everyone gets one quick spot. It's kind of like the Royal Rumble, almost like a different variation on that. But the Royal Rumble works because everyone has to be eliminated. So everyone has a chance to have their spot and then they get thrown out. And this, the first person who gets the pin wins and the whole match ends. So you have to have one move and then like just disappear. Because
it's like a reverse from the Royal Rumble where you want to be in it first.
yeah, it's
Like,
weird.
You know that the match isn't going to end right away, though. You know that like most of the match is pretty much fucking worthless.
Imagine that. Imagine if the first two came out and immediately there was a pin, the whole match is over. Everyone would be like, what the fuck was that? So they're never going to do that, you know?
You know what I mean? Like Toni Storm ended up winning the thing with a roll up. I just said it's total dog shit. I gave it 1.5 stars.
Now hold on. I got no. After last week or the week before? I got to grill you a little bit on this one.
Okay,
all right?
now Phil is grilling.
We were watching WWE, and you were so harsh on the women wrestlers in WWE. You were saying they look awful. Their faces look like men. They have no tits, nothing. No, all right. So I want to hear your opinion on the women here in AEW. What do you?
Okay.
Let's hear.
We had Chris Statlander. This bitch, her gimmick at one time, Phil, was she was an alien.
Well, she is. She's a space alien. That's why she looks like that, right?
She does look fucked, doesn't she? I don't know. Tony is horny for this bitch and loves her and wants to push her, but she gets injured all the time. I think she's ugly as fuck. Then you got Jamie Hayter. I don't know. She's decent, I guess, but like, I wasn't getting erect, you know? Then there was Megan Bain. She was flat as fuck. Julia Hart. Now, I was getting a bit horny for Julia Hart. Did you see Julia Hart, Phil?
She's weird because...
fires me up.
Wasn't she... I mean, maybe I'm misremembering. Was she part of the House of Black storyline? Like, originally she was she was supposed to be a cheerleader, but then the House of Black recruited her. And she turned evil, and she had like a weird tattoo on her fucking face and shit. It's like a weird plot line.
Yeah, and now Malachi Black is out of the company, so I don't know what they're going to do with the House of Black.
I didn't even know that.
I don't know. They've had all sorts of issues with him in both WWE and AEW, especially AEW, where he's just refused to work matches. He's refused his booking. He's like chosen to sit at home rather than job. When he first came into AEW, and I've always like had high hopes for him that he would be good in WWE or he would be good in AEW. When he first came in and he was feuding with Cody, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Where is this going? And then they got like into the trios realm for a while with him and Buddy and the other big guy, Brody King, I think his name is. And they just have never really coherently pulled off that storyline for a sustained period of time because of, I don't know, backstage diva antics or injuries or whatever. So I don't really know what the fuck they're doing with Julia Hart.
Yeah.
I guess Fat Chick Throw says they're making the fat tattoo guy Brody King the new leader of the group. I don't know. I think Brody King has a decent look, but I don't know. Maybe get Julia Hart away from that faction. I think she has a lot of potential as a women's star. But speaking of the women's division, this week, like really bad news for AEW. It looks like Britt Baker, who's their big homegrown star in the women's division. I guess they're saying everybody in the locker room hates her. She's on her way out. And, you know, one of the biggest iconic AEW moments is that, you know, her bloodied in the match with Thunder Rosa. And she really was carrying that women's division for some time. So I think of her as one of the pillars of AEW. And so if she goes, like, again, it's just another, you know, original talent that they have just being shafted and pushed to the side. Toni Storm, you know, she's flat. No tits at all. No ass at all. Why people are so obsessed with Toni Storm, I don't know.
It was weird. Like when she was in WWE, now I would follow social media and people would be like, oh, you got to go to her OnlyFans. And I'd be like, what? Like, what? for what? Like, what are you looking for? I don't, I never understood it.
Now, I guess finally we have the AEW World Title match. And this might be the last time we talk about AEW because the support's not there, Phil.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, if it's my mic, people are disappointed or what. But we got to get some support, guys. We got to get some donos. We got to get some subs. We got to get some tips going on.
I guess they don't want the push-ups and they don't want to see more socks. I don't get it.
I know. I guess I thought that was going to be what turned it around, was the push-ups and the socks.
These people endlessly obsess over this minutia shit, and then we're going to give them what they want, and now where have they gone? They've run for the goddamn hills and they jumped into their fucking moleholes. Where are they?
No. So I guess we're just going to do a straight-up wrestling show again next week. No more circus, no more push-ups, no more socks. We gotta at least hit this first goal. We're still, 300 away?
Yeah, we had a few. Let's do
buddy.
Some quick shout-outs. There was a $2 super chat from Proto Man, and he said Christopher Daniels was Curry Man. I think he was, right?
He was Curry Man. Yeah, he was Curry Man.
And then we had Mike Kelly, who became a member, so that's good for $3. All right, so that's at least
it's over.
$5 a contribution.
Shut this show down, Phil. It's just not viable. Canceled after 3 episodes. Scuffed tech issues. It's over.
We did get a $2 tip from Flatman B. I'll never understand the detractors. If I don't like something, I'll stop watching it. This kind of crap is hilarious. And I don't know if he's talking about, our segments earlier where we were grilling me and shit like that. And, but yeah, I mean, I don't get him either. But hey, we're trying to be funny. We're trying to roll with it. We're trying to have some fun with it, which is what people have seemed to want me to do for many, many years. And now I'm a lot more open to it. I don't really give a shit about the stupid memes anymore. I'm like, let's have some fucking fun today,
Well, I think John here might be right. Don't cater to the detractors. Cater to the Phil fan.
Well,
and we let the Phil faithful down. I don't know. I'm going to have to do some text. Hopefully the mic's not fucked up. I don't know. When we were talking in the green room before, you thought it sounded fine, right?
Yeah, listen, and this is the thing. I'll say this, all right? Some people have been saying, don't you get it? PPP is really hates you, and he's sneak dissing you, and he's saying, and I say that I try to express to them, you guys don't understand. We talk about it before the show. It's not like you drop secret shit on me to haze me on the fucking show. We're having fun with this.
The show, Phil. The whole show is scripted. You gave it away. The wrestling show is scripted, Phil. How could you do this, Phil? It was supposed to be a shoot, brother.
Oh, my God. These people, I don't get it.
Now we have the kayfabe cope. Phil's exposing the business. It's over. It's over. All right, let's finish this, and we'll do Raw quick.
Yes.
AEW World Title match. Give us your thoughts on it, Phil.
Well, first time that I had seen Hobbs in a match, I had seen him on social media years ago when he was just starting to get his push as part of Team Taz, but I hadn't actually seen him in a match. Kind of a weird match because, again, I'm trying to get caught up on this plot line. So I guess Moxley has Marina Shafir as his valet or whatever, but isn't she the wife of what's his name from Undisputed? So it's why is she with him? I'm confused about that. They're not showing the title. The title is held hostage, so I'm trying to figure that out. The match, I would say, was all right. Like you said, Moxley just seems to be like a character. It seems like he's just acting like he's either drunk or high or whatever, all the time. That's it. He even looks like he tries to sweat and everything when he's wrestling. And he still is good in the ring. From what from back in WWE when I saw him, and his character there, but nothing in this match really screamed to me like over the top world title match. First time seeing Hobbs, and he seems solid for a big man, but it's kind of weird because we already had Brian Cage earlier in the show as the big man, and now we got him too. It's kind of like maybe they have too many of these. I don't know. It didn't feel too special to me. Lots of cheating throughout the entirety of the match. The Death Riders are constantly getting in and cheating. And, I guess it's a world title match. They don't want to do the DQ because they want the titles on the line. It's kind of the old days to do that in WWE all the back in the day, too. You don't want to DQ the champ because then the title's on the line and there's still a chance that they could win the title. But, again, I don't feel like it was a great match. Coming in, maybe if I had known the plot line a little better, maybe if I had understood the Death Riders a little better, or the stakes here, I would have liked it a little better. And I think that the story of the match was they kept working his leg. Hobbs' leg was hurt for half the match. And so by the end of the match, he can barely walk, and, so I get it, but I don't know. I just didn't love it. I don't know. I guess some people might be like, well, Phil, I don't get it because the WWE do so many better matches on their product. I don't know. It's just a combination of production value, plot lines that don't seem like they really are going anywhere, no real stakes when there's 700 titles, and it just doesn't feel momentous or epic or interesting. While when I've been watching WWE the past couple of weeks, it felt more important to me. I don't know. I don't know if that's the way to really describe it. This is supposed to be the main event of their show, and I'm watching. I'm like, I'm kind of like, I'm tired from watching 2 hours of this, and I'm not really that excited anymore to see this main event.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't feel like a big deal. I didn't believe that Powerhouse Hobbs was winning the title. I think the name sucks. Powerhouse Hobbs. Can you imagine, like, at WrestleMania, Powerhouse Hobbs versus Stone Cold Steve Austin? No, it's not a main eventer name. This is a mid-card name at best. Jabroni fucking name. Straight up. The match had this weird spot that I want to bring up where he was biting his ear, and then he started bleeding from the ear.
Yeah.
And he was bleeding really, really bad from that ear. It was like crazy how much blood. And Moxley does this, like, he has to bleed every match for some reason. Like, it's always him just bleeding all over the fucking place. A lot of interference to protect Hobbs. Lots of cheating. It felt like kind of a cheap finish. He locked in his choke. I don't know. People really want the belt off Moxley, and so they didn't get it here, and I don't know when they're going to get it. People wanted Darby Allin to get the belt, and he didn't end up getting the belt, and it just seems like Tony and AEW has no real clear direction. It just seems like they're just doing stuff for the sake of doing it. And it's just nowhere near as good as WWE right now. And it's a real shame because they had an opportunity to be a competitor.
I don't even get how, like, they called this one, the show was called Maximum Carnage, and they were acting like it's a big event or a pay-per-view, but it's not. It's just a regular show. So I don't get the impression that anything eventful is really going to happen at the show, even though they're trying to promote it like it is. Maybe because we're smarks, right? Because we're not dumb, we get it. Maybe other people get fooled.
The problem is, Phil, everybody who watches AEW is a smark. There's nobody who's watching AEW who's like a casual wrestling fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody watching AEW reads dirt sheets and is smart to the business. And, it's hard to book a product to those people because they've seen everything and they get fucking bored, and I feel like they're very fickle. And, it just seems like Tony doesn't have a clear direction at all. And it's just not a very good show. I give the show overall a 4 out of 10.
I was going to say like a 2 out of 5, so I think we're pretty much on the same level there. That's exactly what I was going to say.
It was like below average show. Very below average, very cheap show.
Blue Boo did a $5 super chat here. I just want to shut it out quick. He said, we need to see DSP wearing a Powerhouse Hobbs big black and jacked shirt. How would you guys feel about me wearing that next to it?
Let's get Phil on a muscle shirt that he ripped. Let's get some support for Phil. Let's get some donos here, guys. Some kick subs, some tips. Come on. Let's hit this goal for Saturday night's main event, brother.
Right.
Let's make it happen.
That would be a shame. I mean, Saturday night's main event is lined up to be the big show this week where a lot of title matches are happening. But, we got to set the goal. Well, come on, guys. Let's get some support going for that so that we can have the full picture next week of what's going on with WWE.
All right. Let's do the Monday Night Raw review.
Real fast. I watched Collision. Okay. But I didn't watch Collision. I skimmed through Collision, and here's why, okay? The opening match was Hangman Page against Christopher Daniels, as we've talked about in this Texas death match. And let me tell you something. That match was so representative of everything wrong with AEW in the business right now. It was a plot line that made absolutely no sense. So I didn't even understand what the story of the match was. You got Christopher Daniels out there way past his prime. This guy used to be like one of the most like skinny fit guys. You know what I'm saying? Like he was never jacked, but he was always like really cut and nice body for the athleticism that he had. He's kind of like me back in the day. When in my 20s, I also had an Adonis-like body. But let's be honest, we're both in our 40s. He's probably, 50, pushing 60. I don't even know how old he is. And I hate to say it, he's got the man boobs going. And it's very disturbing to see a guy like him trying to go out there and perform, and he just doesn't look the role anymore. He's still hitting the spots and stuff, but it's kind of sad. And the one thing that actually disgusted me, it was barbed wire. There was insane amounts of blood and gore in this match. Like at one point, Hangman has the barbed wire in Christopher Daniels' mouth, and he's pulling the wire back, and there is blood squirting out of his face. And I'm like, why are they doing this?
Well, listen, I like that stuff, but it needs to be on pay-per-view. It needs to be for
there has to be a meaning behind it. Make it a big stakes match.
Big feud or something, a throwaway Saturday night collision to go to that extent to have barbed wire in the mouth instead. And then what does it leave for the other guys to do on the show?
Yeah,
You've
the whole
done
show
everything
sucks.
There is to do.
It reminded me of the movie The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, how depressing the life of an old washed up guy, and he's out there trying to still make a living for himself. So they're smashing him with glass, there's blood squirting everywhere. And I'm like, make it make sense and make it be meaningful. And there's no meaning to it in this match. I didn't really care about the rest of the show. Like I did watch the rest of the show, but I didn't even take notes. I was like disgusted at the fucking match. Like, I don't even want to care that much about this anymore, because I was so upset after seeing a guy like Christopher Daniels be eviscerated in the ring for no reason. It's probably his last match. He doesn't look good. Like, what the fuck is the point of it all?
And he's old, man. And this thing, they get these old guys doing this stuff that they don't need to be doing. Sting is in his 60s, and they had this guy jumping off balconies last year. And it was cool to see Sting jump off the balcony. But holy fuck, man, Sting's in his 60s.
Right.
It's lucky that Sting wasn't fucking paralyzed for life doing half the shit they had him doing out there. Same thing with Edge. They had this guy jump off a steel cage. He fucked up his legs. He was out for a long time. And the guy had fucking neck surgery and was nearly paralyzed over a decade ago. Is doing all this crazy shit. It's just reckless and nonsense for no good reason. And somebody there has to tell these guys no.
Right.
But nobody ever tells me there's no boss over there. Then we got Mega Kabu Tops for $3.16. Can we hit it? Hell yeah!
We can hit it. And
Let's get it.
We received a $5 anonymous tip. Now, this is an interesting question, okay? My friend only watches AEW. He is convinced it is so much better than WWE. Should I still remain friends with someone who is retarded?
Well, retards need friends too. Which is like the motto of this show. You know what I mean? I'm retarded and I need a friend. I've got Phil to keep me company there as we talk about wrestling. But yeah, I don't know. The guy's just flat out delusional. I mean, there are people who just hate WWE just because it's WWE. But a lot of the wind went out of those sails when Vince left.
Yeah.
And I just feel like now there's not the same baggage attached to WWE, and it's now more so the cool brand. And now, Tony Khan is holding Phoenix hostage. Now he's holding Ricky Starks hostage. Starks has asked for his release. Tony Khan won't give it to him. I thought Ricky Starks was okay. At least Ricky Starks was trying. But he got buried by Edge at one point, which also looked bad on Edge, that Edge was seething. And then MJF was burying Starks in promos too, because he really was like a poor man's Rock. But at least he was trying. At least he was trying to do something. So, all right, WWE Raw, January 20th, 2025. Show is from Dallas, Texas. Opens with Cole hyping the main event. It's going to be Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. It's sold out. There's 15,000 fans in this building. Glorious drone shots of the whole crowd.
Yes.
There couldn't be more of a contrast, right?
Exactly.
Between that WWE show on Monday and AEW last night, could there?
Such a stark contrast. 15,572 in attendance. I'm sure that's a lot more. American Airlines Arena, amazing arena, feels professional, feels over the top, great production quality, and again, feels different. Feels like you're watching a different product. Like it's not even in the same category as the pro wrestling you would have watched if you were watching AEW. So, and by the way, Spawn Killer with a $2 super chat. He says, you should watch Darby Allin. He is crazy. I know of him. I've seen some stuff of him on social media. Obviously, he wasn't on AEW this week, in the matches that we watched, but, I would like to get back in line with everything, so maybe eventually I'll see some of his stuff. We'll have to see. I don't know if he's one of these crazy spot monkeys or not.
He is. He's like the ultimate spot monkey. He's
Oh.
trying to be like a Jeff Hardy for the modern era.
Ah.
I've met him, and he is so small. He is so small. He can't be like more than 160, 70 pounds, soaking wet, tiny guy. But he kills himself. He really does kill himself in the ring. He's trying to climb Mount Everest right now. So I think that's kind of why they haven't pushed him, is because they're worried he might injure himself doing that or what. Seth Rollins was shown backstage in this blue ski coat and this giant rectangle blue sunglasses. He looks gay and retarded as usual. Then CM Punk shown backstage. Penta versus Pete Dunne is hyped. Rhea Ripley is in the building, and then she gets ambushed by Nia Jax.
Yes.
Nia starts beating her up. She throws her into stuff backstage. She grabs her by the throat and slams her into the wall about 3 times. I thought that looked good, actually. Her slamming her into the wall, I thought it was a good beatdown.
I always wonder with Nia Jax, like, how much is what they were supposed to do and how much is she just doesn't know what the fuck she's doing and fucking everything up. So it's like, was that actually supposed to happen like that? Or is she just like messing around?
No, she's sloppy as fuck in the ring, man. She's sloppy. I don't really like Nia Jax. Nobody seems to like her. Security pulls her off. Then we have commentary as Wade Barrett and Michael Cole this week.
Yes.
I like this, actually. I like Wade Barrett on commentary. I thought he did a good job. I feel like it's better with Cole and Barrett than it was with Cole and Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
I felt like it was more balanced. What did you think about this, Phil?
It feels more like a balance. You're absolutely right. When you have Pat McAfee and Michael Cole, it kind of sometimes can sound like stereo. You know what I mean? With this, you got someone, he's got the British accent. He's got the know-how from the business, being a former pro wrestler. So I like that better, especially because he's homegrown, too. He's someone from the company. He's not someone they pulled from another show or whatever to be there. So I did enjoy him on the commentary. I think he added a good amount.
Then Jey Uso's music hit. Wow, is Jey Uso ever over? I can't believe how into him the crowd is. I don't know if it's the yeet thing or the dance move or whatever. I don't feel like it's warranted based on what I've seen from Jey Uso, but you can't argue with it. I think he is the guy that people are most into.
He's the hype man right now, for sure. Again, like we had said, kind of like with Daniel Bryan, who was always doing the yes or the no, this yeet thing really has done it. It's just blown up with the crowd. It resonates with the fans. And I don't know, if it's warranted or not. I've only seen very little of him. It's confusing to me because I hadn't seen it until last week or 2 weeks ago. But he is white hot with the fans right now. I would assume he's selling insane amount of merch. I saw like 2 ads for his merch during the show as well between the segments. So
at one point, Cole's dancing with him. I thought that was so corny and cheap, but then Barrett called him out on it on commentary. I was like, okay, this is good. But yeah, the atmosphere of all these people going crazy for Jey, it really was night and day when compared to AEW. Like, they had nobody that was that over, that was electrifying the crowd, that got people into it like this. And it really set the tone. It really set the tone that this is the big leagues. This is a big promotion. This is a hot promotion that people are into right now. They've been putting on good shows. And, Jey starts cutting his promo. Again, I didn't think the promo was anything special or good, but the people are so into it. So
eat it up. Eat it right up.
When they're that into it, you can't really argue with it. It's working. So, even though I'm a hater of Jey in a way, and I'm detracting on him, I can't really take away from it because he's so over. Then
it's a performance art. It's not just about the athleticism. It's about a performance, and he's got the performance that's winning the people over. So, more power to him.
Then we had Gunther come out. He's in his suit. He's got that like European look with the loafers, with no socks on. Kind of this traditional heel look. And he comes out, and again, I feel like he cut a really good promo. that was in line with everything he said. He called Jey like a funny little man.
A dork.
He called him a dork. And, he says that he believed him when he said, what he was saying. But then he saw how Jey walked out there looking like a dork, like the company mascot. And he says, it doesn't matter. You may as well be facing Jimmy Uso. He says, you don't bet on yourself. I don't believe you. You are helping other people. You're furthering your cousin. You're furthering Cody. You don't take care of yourself, it's true. And like all of it was, as opposed to the promo that MJF was cutting, where it was all like shoot stuff and, your wife this and you killed these companies that. This was all in kayfabe. Yeah. And it all made sense, his criticisms within kayfabe, and he was kind of right. And the line that I really thought resonated was when he said, Jey, your words and actions don't align, but mine do.
Right.
And that's what I like about Gunther, is that he always is that character, and he's always in alignment with what he should be doing. He says and does exactly what that character should say and do. So I really like him. And he says on Saturday he will expose Jey as a flash in the pan that shouldn't be in the title picture, kind of alluding to that he's a flavor of the week guy and he's not going to last. I thought it was a good promo. Jey says Gunther is right. He's telling the truth. He is a mascot and that the fans are his team and squad. And he says he's winning the world title. And then he said, he goes, only one of us is main evented WrestleMania, and it's not you. and they started fighting. Gunther sucker punched Jey, started beating him down. Jey turns it around, super kicks Gunther out of the ring, and Jey stands tall. Which, if you know WWE booking, whoever stands tall on the show
is going to lose.
Is usually going to lose, especially when it's a baby face standing tall like that. Probably Jey is going to lose at Saturday night's main event. I can't see him winning, but with how over he is, maybe it is his time. Maybe it would make sense for him to get the belt, but I don't know.
Would they drop it on the main event though, or would they have it be like maybe an unspecific end or a DQ, and then they set it up for the Royal Rumble as, having the real match at the Rumble, perhaps?
I think you're probably right that's the booking, that they continue this to Rumble because they only have one more week to pivot to Royal Rumble.
Right.
So it's a question of what of consequence will really happen at Saturday night's main event. Will there be anything definitive there? Or is it all just going to be pushing towards the Rumble? I will say I like the first Saturday night main event show they did. And this will probably be a good show if we get to review it. Come on, guys. Let's get some support here.
Come on.
Phil had no support yesterday at all, guys. Like, there was no shows. The internet was down.
Tony Khan screwed me, man.
We're battling through scuffed mic issues, guys. Come on. Let's get some fucking support. Let's get some subs. Let's hit this goal. We see the New Day backstage, and they greet JBL. I guess JBL is going to be the commentator for their match against Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
They bribe him with $2 to tell people they're a victim of a conspiracy. And then JBL starts praising Big E, how he's the real force behind the New Day, and kind of burying them. And then New Day walk away or whatever, and they're upset. What did you think of this backstage segment, Phil?
I like the segment. I wish that I had known the background because I didn't know. I knew New Day was breaking up, but I didn't know that like Big E was the reason. I guess because he's never. Sadly, I guess he's never going to get better, right? Like that's the thing. He can never really perform in the ring again because of that neck injury. And so I like the plot that they're breaking up, and these guys are going to go off for themselves, and they're mad at him. I don't necessarily get the JBL interaction with the New Day here. Like, I don't see the jive between the two groups. Like, JBL is supposed to be like the ultimate heel, the Wall Street guy, the Texas businessman guy. And I get it. Like, they gave him $2, so he doesn't like them or whatever, but aren't they turning on Big E? So if he's the heel, wouldn't he like that? Like, shouldn't he?
I don't really know. Like, it was weird to put two heels together in like the same segment. I'll just say, like, with New Day, I've always felt they were super corny and really gay, and it was like a farce. They always changed the channel when they were on. I don't think they should have ever even lasted 2 weeks as a faction. When they first came out, everybody hated it. Everybody shit on it.
Yeah.
They were shucking and jiving, and it was like this black stereotype dancing gimmick. Somehow, to their credit, they got that garbage gimmick over.
Yes.
They've milked it for over a decade now.
Right.
But it's just, to me, I never like the unicorns and the rainbows and the ponies and the pancakes. It was not for me, and it was really cringe. Now they're doing this heel jobber New Day gimmick, which I don't really know. Like, I don't know what to make of this. I feel like they should probably just release these guys. Like, I really don't like Xavier. Kofi, I could live without. But I don't know. We'll see what they end up doing with these guys if the storyline goes anywhere. But this match that they had with Ray and Kofi, oh my God, we'll get into it here in a minute. Bailey's backstage.
Oh, shout out to Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier did gift a sub over on Kick, so thank you, Winter Soldier, there. And the only other thing I wanted to say about New Day is, yeah, like, I honestly don't know what they're going to do with them. Because, like, it seems like they've kind of run the gamut of what they can do. They were tag champions. Kofi got his time. Xavier Woods was king of the ring. They've kind of done everything they're going to do with these guys. And I'm wondering what the direction's going to be. I'm happy that they're trying something because now they've acknowledged that Big E isn't going to wrestle again. But I don't know about them having any success doing anything else when you've done the same. It's kind of like the John Cena thing. When you've done the same thing for so long and you were kind of PG for the company, it's kind of hard to then break out of that. Like, they're going to lose merch sales and stuff, that they were probably selling to the kids and stuff. So I don't know. We'll have to see where they're going and what their ideas are. They did it once. Maybe they can do it again. Maybe they can really reinvent themselves.
Just from what I've been seeing on the Raws that we've watched, they've just been treated kind of like jabronis, like a big joke and an afterthought. And I don't really know if there's anything big planned for them. New Day comes out with the ponies and rainbows entrance, but they say to cut the music. They say they aren't using that theme anymore. The fans start chanting New Day sucks.
But then they didn't play another theme. And I was like, well, if you're going to cut your theme up, play the theme. Like, I didn't know what was happening. Of a miscue or something. I don't know.
Then they take the $2 back from JBL. The match starts. It's Kofi versus Ray. These guys have been around forever. Forever in this. Like, Kofi's been there, more than like 17 years probably now? He came in probably around 2007, 2008. Rey Mysterio, he's had a career now probably over 30 years, if not 40 years. He was wrestling back in WCW Nitro.
Yeah.
All the way through to the modern day. So it is always a privilege to see Ray. But, Ray's wearing a shirt because he's old and he's getting fat. He's getting fat. JBL, they're putting over on commentary how long he's been wrestling. And I really liked how they maintained the kayfabe of this, where JBL hates Ray.
Yes. Yes. He said he's a deadbeat dad to Dom. I was like, dude.
I died. I'm like, this is great. And I really like JBL on commentary with Michael Cole. Maggle. I always liked them. I know a lot of people hate them on commentary, but I grew up with them on commentary a lot of the time. And so I thought it was fun to see them on commentary. They have a good callback on commentary to JBL retiring Ray. Ray retiring JBL. And I remembered, I was thinking about that. And then they brought it up. So I kind of marked out for that. The match, it starts off with Ray in control. He's hot. Then Kofi kind of grounds him. But this match had a lot of botches.
Yeah.
Like, there was the spot where it looks like Ray, botches the sunset flip to the floor. But then they recover the spot kind of with Kofi fighting out. And they recovered it so well that I wondered if he was actually supposed to flip him from the ropes or not. I think it was a botch, but they covered for that one well.
They're pretty good at that. Like Kofi, especially from all his rumbles where he has to do that crazy shit, you know, oh, he didn't touch the floor, so he has to juggle on the fucking ring steps and everything. So I think he's used to kind of recovering from crazy mix-ups like that.
And a really bad botch. Kofi botches this power bomb, and it was dangerous. Did you see this, Phil? Did you pick up on that?
I didn't. I missed this. Okay.
He goes to power bomb Ray on the floor, and he lets go early, and he loses control, and Ray like flips like this and lands really hard and really awkwardly. So it's like 2 back-to-back botches on the floor. Then like Kofi tries for his finisher. Ray reverses it into the 619, but then Xavier interferes. Ray gets the 619 again and hits it, but then Kofi puts his knees up on the drop the dime and gets a 2 count. Then Kofi tries to use that SOS move, but it seemed like they botched it again.
Yeah. I don't know if it was they were tired or if that was the story that he was supposed to be hurt from taking so many 619s and stuff. But yeah, definitely, again, another for 2 guys who have been doing this for a long time, you want to have them to have a good match. And when you see 3 to 4 botches, it's kind of like, oh man, you know, it kills the momentum.
Really shocked. Like really shocked to see these botches and the finish being botched. This weird, awkward roll-up.
Yeah, out of nowhere. A weird roll-up. I don't think that was intended either. That seemed odd and on the fly.
So, like, normally I would have given this match 3 stars, but I really deducted a full star for the botches. Really took me out of the match. I was really surprised. I liked the commentary and stuff, but I gave it 2 stars. What did you think, Phil?
Yeah, for what it was, like I think the best part was the JBL commentary, quite frankly. The match was less enjoyable than having JBL do the nostalgic callback. So out of 5, I'd probably give it like a 2.5 maybe, but definitely nothing to write home about or anything too special.
Yeah, I'd say it's an average match, made kind of below average by the botching. Then they did a recap. And then Woods jumped Ray from behind and New Day beat him down. But the Latino World Order came out to save Ray.
Yes.
Then they had a recap of Penta's debut. Seems like they're really trying to push Penta, make him a big deal. Chad Gable backstage. Did you see the Chad Gable interaction with Judgment Day here, Phil?
Yeah, asking of all people, you know, Dominic for help or whatever. It's like I guess there's gonna be, maybe there'll be a crossover or maybe it'll be a big match. I don't know. It's interesting to see because again, I'm just jumping in, so I don't know if these guys have history or whatever. So I hear the talking and like, well, is this just that? You know, he really thinks he needs the help here. He needs the coaching or whatever. I don't know, but it was fun. It was funny.
I wonder where it's going with this luchador expert that he's gonna talk to or whatever.
Yeah.
I wonder who's gonna be the lucha expert or what. Then we got Sami Zayn in-ring promo.
Yes.
And he talks about how he's gonna enter the Royal Rumble match. And you know, this is interesting because it gives us another viable contender for the Royal Rumble match. And this year it seems like there's a lot of ways that they could go with this. And I thought this was a really good segment. I thought this was a fun segment with Sammy and Kevin Owens.
Sure. Sammy making a good point. You know, he's pretty much done everything in the WWE except win the big one. He hasn't gotten that world title. And because of that, this would be his chance at redemption. This would be his chance to make the big main event if he wins the Rumble. And yeah, I think the people are behind him. He's kind of like the underdog at this point. Kind of like, I kind of remember how like Daniel Bryan used to be like that. But Sammy's been doing this for a while. And to see that maybe perhaps he'll actually do it if he wins the Rumble. By the way, oh, there you go. I thought you had frozen for a second. I was like, oh,
no. Sorry, I just got a phone call there. I just had to let them know I can't take it at the second. But okay, yeah, we're doing the Sami Zayn's Kevin Owen promo segment there. It's interesting because it's like teasing. Is, you know, Sammy gonna help KO win the belt? Is he gonna become a bad guy? Are they gonna have this main event match at WrestleMania?
He's asking for his help. That was intriguing. I think that's pretty good writing there. Would Sammy help KO so that then they can have a title match at WrestleMania. I mean, he'll have his back if you have my back. It's kind of an interesting take. Now, you got to wonder, on the Royal Rumble, will this happen? Will they each have each other's backs? Will one of them turn on the other? I could see that happening. Sammy helps KO, and then KO, like, screws him over for the zillionth time, so he can't win the Rumble or something like that. That would be interesting.
They have wrestled at WrestleMania before. I believe it was years ago, and then they also had the main event together as tag team partners at WrestleMania. So it's not as though they've never worked together at WrestleMania before, but I could see a lot of fans getting excited for this idea. You know, Sammy has a lot of supporters, Kevin has a lot of fans, but I just don't think it's going to end up happening.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's too many bigger players around, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, for them to give Sammy this push. And Sammy's time to win the belt really was when he was so white hot in Montreal during that Roman Reigns huge title run, but they couldn't give it to Sammy at that time because it would have messed up the whole, you know, tribal chief bloodline stuff with Cody Rhodes. So I doubt Sammy will get it, but you know, it's a possibility and it's something to watch for at the Rumble. Makes the Rumble more interesting. Thought this was a good segment they had. Then we've got Shawn Michaels is going to be on Saturday night's main event. Oh, by the way, what did you think of the Winged Eagle title? With Kevin Owens with the Winged Eagle title, Phil? Did you
honestly, I didn't notice it. I didn't even notice it.
Notice it?
No.
Wow. Holy shit, Phil.
I want to see it now. Now that you told me that, now I want to take a look at it.
No, because he had it right on his shoulder during the whole segment, right?
I think I'm just so used to Kevin Owens. I'm paying attention to their interaction. I wasn't really looking at everything around you. Now I'm like actually interested in seeing this new belt. Cool.
Oh yeah, well no, it's the old belt.
They stole it, right? He stole the old belt or whatever.
It was from Saturday night's main event from the last show. I don't know. I wish they would keep it, to be honest. I think it looks way better than the current title that they have, but they want to have that WWE branding everywhere the champion goes. So we're probably never going back to old designs. Sheamus was backstage. He cut a promo about the Intercontinental title. He said he's got every other title in the company, but the IC title he's never managed to get.
Yeah, right.
You know, drew him to wrestling as a kid, and he really wants to get it. He's so close, and the stars are aligning. And then Braun Breaker confronts him backstage. Braun Breaker looking like old Dark Side Phil, you know, all muscular and sexy with the goatee and stuff. He was like spitting image of you, really, Phil, wasn't he?
Of course. Well, 20 years ago, of course, when I used to work out.
Yeah, 20 years ago, when Phil was benching 3 plates and stuff like that. So we've got that match coming up on Saturday night's main event. Then we got Bayley versus Nia Jax. Thoughts, Phil?
Do you want to know what I wrote? I'm reading my notes here. I wrote, Nia is just so floppy and weird. I can't get into the match.
No. I really didn't get into it either. I mean, the match was basically just Bayley was kind of beating her up, landing move after move, and then towards the end, Nia just hit 3 moves. She hit that Samoan drop. Then she did her running splash. And then she did the splash off the top to win.
Yeah. And I guess the story was that Bayley is going to have a program with Roxanne, who used to be on NXT. So Roxanne was trying to distract Bayley during the match, resulting in Nia capitalizing. So the match really didn't have any stakes anyway. It really was a setup match, and that's why it's kind of hard.
It always to set up Rhea and Nia battling and them breaking away from security. I just don't believe it's believable that they would be able to. I guess maybe, but it's like you've got like 10 guys in the ring, and like I know what biological reality is. It's one thing when it's like Undertaker and Brock Lesnar like beating up the security and breaking away with the pull apart. But you know, these women, they're really not that big.
Yeah.
You know, and so I don't know. It was a fun little brawl, pull apart. You know, Rhea, you know, jumps off the table onto Nia and they fight. It was okay. I'm just not super into the women's wrestling, to be honest with you. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but maybe I'll get into it more as we're on the road to WrestleMania and they set up the storylines.
The way I see it, like with the women's wrestling, okay, to be honest, Like, there was an era when all the women's wrestling during that Attitude Era was not really wrestling. It was eye candy. It was the freaking the bra and panty matches, the mud pit matches, the crazy shit that was made for sexual content. And then WWE decided like 10, 15 years later, they were going to change and they started to bring in the legit people. But if you were someone who was around back then, like that's kind of what the association is in your head. So you see them trying to bring in real people who are wrestlers or whatever. It's like, okay, I get it, but you don't really get into it as much, or you know what I mean? And not to say that I care about the sexual content, but it just doesn't get exciting anymore. You watch Nia Jax flop around the ring and Bayley's trying to wrestle her. It's like, yeah. It feels, is it like Yokozuna versus Bret Hart? No, it's not. Not even close.
Not even close. No. No. We got Pete Dunne versus Penta. I was into this match. What did you think, Phil? What did you think, Pete Dunne versus Penta?
Forgive me because I'm wrestling with my laptop right now to get it to load the chat.
Okay.
But I was so happy to see Pete Dunne back, and he's Pete Dunne again because he was in that dumb plot line with the Brawling Brutes. He had a nickname and everything. And obviously he wanted to be Pete Dunne, and people like Pete Dunne as the bruiserweight character. And I don't know why WWE is so adamant at taking things that are working and just ruining them just to say we fucked with it and made it our own or whatever. And now that he's back and he's the bruiserweight and he's doing the spots again, he's biting and he's breaking the fingers and everything. I like that Pete Dunne. So I was happy to see the return to form in the match. And again, this is the third? I can't remember if the second or third match we've seen of Penta.
The second match of Penta.
It's good.
We had a match on SmackDown. Yeah, it's real good. I was excited to see Pete Dunne again. I remember when Pete Dunne had his run in NXT and NXT UK. He had a lot of really good matches. Now, yeah. I don't know if he's lacking the promo ability or the stories or the booking, but he never really seemed to go anywhere on the main roster. But he was a great choice for this match. Just like Chad Gable, he has a moveset and a style that clashed really well with Penta and really allowed Penta to shine in this
Exactly.
match.
I put the note right here. This was the perfect selection. Pete Dunne's going to look good no matter what, but it allows Penta to get a lot of good spots in, and it showcases them both, but Penta will look great in this match, and it did. It worked very well.
It really did. His entrance was really cool. The spinning sparks and the flames, and the crowd was into him. I liked how it started off with Penta doing the Zero Meta, and then Pete Dunne grabbed his fingers and started working the hand. And they did that a few different times, where when he went to do the taunt, he would do his submission work with the fingers and the hand and stomping the elbow. And that was good. That was a nice spot for them to work in. They went back and forth. Penta hit a Canadian Destroyer at one point, but Pete rolled out. Penta landed a cool dive after that. They were fighting on their knees. Then he did a triangle choke submission at one point. Pete Dunne did. It was a good match. Penta ended up getting a sacrifice arm breaker and the driver for the win. I gave the match 3.5 stars. I think it was really a highlight of the show.
I agree.
And hopefully more matches with him. And they're picking the right opponents and the right way to present him. Then we got a Logan Paul promo package.
So here's my thoughts on Logan Paul. Okay, I don't think anyone likes the guy as a person after all the hijinks he's been involved in online, crypto scams, and fucking going to Japan.
I do, but go ahead.
But as I've never seen him wrestle. Okay, I am willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, separate the art from the artist. Let's see next week. He says he's on Raw. I don't know if he'll wrestle. I want to see him wrestle. I want to see, oh God, what's her name? The MMA fighter who came to WWE. Ronda Rousey, where when she first got there, it was cringe as shit. You're like, she's going to suck. She ended up being good. She actually was pretty good in the ring. She put in the effort. She put in the time. Now, of course, the story that she's not with the company anymore, the drama and all of that. But
it didn't end up working out in the end. But
right. But she did good. She had a good work ethic, and it ended up being entertaining. If Logan Paul is that, then I guess I can overlook the fact that the guy's a scumbag, in my opinion. But let's see. I haven't seen him yet. I'm willing to give him a shot.
He is a heel wrestler as well. So it does work to his advantage that a lot of people don't like him. I've really liked his work in WWE, but he hasn't been seen since SummerSlam. So if he wants to be in WWE, I think he needs to be a bit more active with the company. And so hopefully he is, more active through WrestleMania. Then CM Punk's music hits. He walks through the lobby, through the fans. It was kind of cool. And then he does this promo. He does the cheap pop, shouting out Dallas, but it works. And Punk cuts this promo about, the history and the pressure and the spotlight of the moment are going to ensure that he wins, and tosses out 29 other superstars. He says he can't see John Cena throwing him over the top rope. He says Roman Reigns needed his help to settle family business, and there are no friends in the Rumble. He says Seth is buried, and don't even ask him about Sami Zayn. He's not on that level. And then he says he's going to throw Hogan's dusty ass over the top rope and kill Hulkamania once and for all. He got a huge big pop for that. People have been buzzing about it all week, about him saying this stuff about Hogan. What did you think about Punk's promo, Phil?
I love the promo. The Hogan thing, again, what I like about this is you don't know if that's what he was supposed to say, or he's the kind of guy that would just say shit like that just to get the rise out of the crowd. So is this actually something that will result in anything, or is he just fucking with everyone, which is equally hilarious in my opinion? Hogan had the really very, very bad appearance on the Premier Raw 2 weeks ago, and everyone hated on him. So maybe he's just feeding off of that energy. Don't know. But the promo was great. You don't know who his feud's really going to be with in the Rumble, because typically with a guy like Punk, there's going to be a story, right? He's going to be mano-a-mano with someone big, whether it'll be the person who's surprised in the Rumble, they were going to be in it, or maybe he'll be there at the end. It'll be him and Seth. I don't think Hulk Hogan's going to be in the Rumble, but I did like that he picked on so many top guys that now anyone who he wrestles in the Rumble will kind of feel special because of this promo, and I think it served that purpose and did a really good job.
Yeah, I think it was a good enough promo hyping up the Rumble. I don't know. I think he probably went into business for himself on that Hulk Hogan thing.
Yeah.
It seemed like to me that wasn't a scripted moment, but maybe that's us getting worked on it. Whether Hogan's in the Rumble, they might have him in it, but I don't even know if he could take a bump over the top rope anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so. No, I don't think so, man.
Is destroyed. He's had 7 or 8 back surgeries over the years.
They'd have to lay up one of those giant stump balloon things for him to land on when he hits the floor, or else he's going to break to a million pieces.
I don't know. I don't think he'll be in the Rumble, but it would be fun if he was. Then they did I've never seen this before, but they did a sign of the night segment where they were showing off signs in the crowd, which I think is a good idea, because I think we need more signs. If you remember back in the day, there were hundreds of signs in the crowd.
Yes.
Now there's a lot less. So putting a focus on that, I think, is not a bad idea.
Well, I think it's because there was that era when WWE was being so stupid and they were confiscating signs left and right, and people just got turned off from bringing them. Like, I'm not going to fucking waste my time making a sign if some dick's going to come take it from me at the shows. So I kind of get it, but hopefully this will turn things around because they're highlighting them again.
Quickly, we'll run through the rest of this. Then we had Sonya Deville kind of got a jobber entrance with Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, Fusion Collective or something. I didn't know what the hell they're called. Some weird group. I didn't really get it.
And they didn't get a full entrance. And then Io Sky and Dakota Sky came out, or whatever the fuck. It was a tag match. I don't know. Sky won with the moonsault there.
So Bailey's not in Damage Control anymore. So Damage Control is just the two of them. I'm so confused. Yes. I don't know.
Yeah, they had a big feud about it. I doesn't matter. I give the match 2 stars. It was okay. I never got into it. Then we had the big main event, Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. Seth came out to a decent pop. The fans were singing his song, but he was way less over than Jey Uso. Yeah. They were way less into Seth than they were into Jey Uso.
Yeah.
Then Drew came out and he had a very muted reaction. And, I get that he's a heel, but he didn't even really get many boos Did you notice that? It just
Yeah.
kind of felt like
I've got that vibe ever since we started watching Raw a couple weeks ago. Like, I get the feeling at one point he was a top guy. He was the champion. Then he went super heel against Roman. I don't really feel like the people are responding to him the way that they think they will. Like, they think they're going to care he's a top heel, but I'm not getting that vibe 3 weeks in a row now. So,
I don't know. The match was pretty good. Back and forth, back and forth. You know, Rollins went for the stomp and missed, reversed into the future shock, which was reversed into a pedigree, reversed into a clothesline. Rollins got in a crossface at one point. Then McIntyre got to the rope, but his head slipped out anyway. Which I'm not sure, like, if that was supposed to happen with his head slipping out or what. Then at one point, Rollins is like yelling at Drew for questioning his integrity, and you know he was like spurging out. Then Drew hit the future shock, and then for 2, and then Rollins won with this shitty roll up again.
yes, another roll up.
So they're giving Drew this gimmick where he loses by roll up. And that's never a good sign. When you give a wrestler a gimmick where they're on a losing streak, and especially a losing streak where they're getting embarrassed with roll-ups, it's always a bad sign for that wrestler, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they're doing Drew this way. I guess maybe he's not getting enough of a reaction from the live crowd or what. But it was a decent match, but I was just surprised by the finish. What did you think, Phil?
Yeah, again, it's hard. When the first week of Raw happened and Drew seemed to be like he was going to be at the top or whatever, I was excited. But now it's like week after week, he's getting the short end of the stick. He's getting the one who gets, he's the worst guy in the promo. They screw him over. He loses the match to, it was Jey, correct? In the first week there,
Yeah,
Jey
to
Uso.
Jey.
And now again, it's like, how he doesn't seem credible. I missed the year. Like someone in the chat just made a point. Alex from Phoenix says he had the feud of the year with Punk in 2024, but he's in between feuds. Like, yeah, but the point is, if you're a top guy, you never want to be in between feuds. You want to be going from this good feud to this good feud to this good feud. And it seems like maybe that was the top of where he was ever going to be. And now he's been deflated. I'm not in love with the matches he's doing because I don't feel confident that he's going to win the match. So why do I care? You see?
Exactly. I gave the match 3 3/4 stars. I thought it was pretty good, but a weak finish. I think out of the 3 Raw main events, they've all been good. They've all been credible main events with actual finishes. This was the weakest of the finishes, and I think the weakest of the 3 matches.
I agree.
And I felt like this was the weakest of the 3 shows that we've watched so far from Raw. It was still a good show.
Yeah.
I was entertained pretty much throughout, but I'm giving the show this week a 7 out of 10. So we went from a 9 to an 8. Now we're at a 7. And it seems like, though, if they can maintain this quality level week to week or above, this is a show that I look forward to watching.
It's very watchable.
It's
It doesn't make you feel like you wasted your time because at least they're going somewhere with some of these angles. I'm very excited for the Royal Rumble. I actually am. Like, now there's all these contenders who are believable that they could win. It seems like when they get in the ring with each other, who's gonna, is someone gonna throw someone out or whatever? I guess we have 2 weeks left. Well, let me think about it. We have a Saturday night main event, and then we have the final Raw before the Rumble, and then the Rumble is on Saturday. Is that correct? That it's Saturday nights now?
the Rumble is on Saturday
because they've changed their pay-per-views. They used to always be on Sunday. Now they're always on Saturday. And the very good thing about that, here's what I'm happy. No one can spoil the Rumble for me because I'm not working on Saturday, so no one can come to my chat and spoil that shit. I hate that shit. So that's going to be great.
Tell them that, Phil. Now they're going to spoil it for you, buddy.
Well, they can't because I'm not working that day. There's no way they can spoil it. You see, that's the point. If I was working that day, we're good with no spoilers.
Still one now. Let's send out the whale call. Whale call, ho! Who will help us hit the goal as we go into this brief overtime where...
To reiterate, the goal is 500. If we hit it, we're going to be reviewing both Saturday night main event and Raw next week. The stretch goal was 750, where we said we would watch AEW again, but we got to at least hit the first goal before we're even considering that. And of course, as we discussed, the person who said they wanted us to watch the Japanese wrestling is like, I see tumbleweeds, going by. I don't know where they could possibly be. Big talk during the week, but where were they today? There was a
I don't
$2
know.
tip here. An anonymous $2 tip. They said, I don't watch wrestling. This show sounds like a foreign language to me, but actually, I just can't stop listening. What is wrong with me? Maybe you just find us entertaining. You know, maybe you just like our personalities.
Too much AEW talk today. AEW is whack and not worthy of support. I don't know. This was an all over the place show today. I actually think it was a really fun show for Philomaniacs, and probably the detractors are going to have a field day with it and a lot of fun, I'm sure. It's a great day for the Phil universe, but not a lot of support.
We got a sub over on Kick from Satanades.
One sub from Satanades. One sub.
So now we're halfway to the goal. Officially.
Halfway there. Can we get a big 50 sub bomb here in the last moments?
I added a prayer emote on Kick over the last week. Everyone has to start the prayers right now. Where are the whales to get this final bomb on there?
Where are the whales? Please. We're begging. We're literally begging. Can we hit it? We didn't do enough begging this week. So last week I started off with 20 minutes of begging.
That's right.
And we hit the goal.
That's right. Now, ask and you shall receive. We didn't ask enough.
We do less begging, less talking about wrestling, and we make less money.
All right. How about this? I got a proposition. If we hit the goal, 500, I will do the 10 push-ups. I will do it.
There's no way. Guys, let's hit it, please. Listen, if you're a follower of mine, if you're a fan of mine, let's get these fucking 50 subs right now for Phil to do the push-up.
Come on, you know you want.
This is an iconic moment. Morshoe has gifted a sub, putting us 49 away from Phil doing the 10 push-ups. Come on. This is an iconic moment there.
That's right.
To see Phil do the 10 push-ups. The show started with an hour of audio problems that were never resolved instead of begging. Fuck! It's over, guys.
You know what's funny? I'll be honest. Your mic doesn't sound that bad to me. It doesn't, but maybe I don't know. It sounds.
I don't know. Like, I figured you would have told me if it was that fucking bad, but I'm gonna have to get on a 4-hour tech call with Warski where he walks through why the mic is so fucked up. Oh no!
Rare Tricks with a sub over on Kick. Thank you, Rare Tricks.
You're
and now we're
48 away
48
from the goal. Can we hit it? Where are the A-logs? They've been asking to see Phil do push-ups for years. Where are the detractors at? They just don't want to see it, Phil.
It's this simple, and I've said this before. The A-logs are people who just want to A-log for the sake of A-logging. They don't actually want to see anything. They don't want me to improve. They don't want me to do things. They just want to A-log. They don't put their money where their mouth is. They're just full of shit 24/7. If they had any kind of credibility, any kind of fucking, moral aptitude, they would come on this stream and say, all right, we've been fucking making fun of Phil for 5 years about this. He's going to do it. Let's see it happen. But instead, they just bitch and bitch and bitch. They're little pussies with tiny dicks, and that's all they do all day is they bitch about everything on the fucking internet, and it's never good enough. And if I did the 10 push-ups right now, they'd say that's not good enough. Move the goalpost again. Because they're not fucking men. They're little cowards bitches. Come on.
It would be your form wasn't good enough, Phil, on the push-ups. And the thing is, it's endless content if they would just send the money. But they won't. So now it's like, listen, detractors, we're giving you everything you've ever wanted. The ability to make Phil actually do the push-ups. And yet none of them are here for it, Phil. No. It's unbelievable.
They're full of shit.
Game over, Phil.
Why do you think they're so upset over the last 6 months where actually I'm doing well? They can't stand it because the whole narrative has been Phil's broke, Phil's a loser, Phil's a beggar, but now I do good. I have a day where I have no internet, and then I come on a stream at night, and I'm here for an hour, and I hit the goal. It's like, yeah, because people like me, stupid. It's not because people dislike me anymore. It's because people actually like my content and want me to see me succeed. They're not dumb. You know, you're dumb. You're the ones who made up this shit all this time. So, I don't know. Someone said turn down your camera to 144p. What the hell?
Let's crank it way down to 144p. I don't know. I had fun on the show. We got decent support for the issues that we had. Yeah. But we'll be back next week with the Raw review. We'll see, folks. It's a shame. There's no No last minute wail today to save it.
No.
We're tap dancing in overtime here, Phil. Just chatting about nothing. Do you have any other pairs of socks to show everybody, Phil?
I think what it is they're waiting for me to do an overtime daily wrap. So maybe if I start the daily wrap right now to extend the stream even longer.
If we start the daily wrap, then we might get the last minute. Well, Tiff Wrap for 10 says, does Canadian count?
Well, it does. The problem is
really.
exactly.
No,
that's like $6.50 right there. That's
Find this YouTube's cut. You may as well have not. Well, I shouldn't say that, but
how about this? We'll count it as 10 just to be nice today, even though usually
we'll count it as 10. This is desperate. This is desperate and sad times here on the DSPPP podcast.
Should we start accepting the gift cards? Should we ask for gift cards and leftover,
in the mail, or
changing the socks?
Items from Phil's throne wish list, maybe. We'll accept throne wish list purchases. All right. Well, I guess that's it then for Smart Guys episode 3. We'll be back next week. Hopefully my mic is fixed. I'm going to try and get that fixed right now. And we'll be back with the Monday Night Raw review. We'll still probably recap Saturday night's main event. I'm still going to watch it.
Yeah, it's so important right now to what's going on with the plot lines. And like I said, I don't foresee any titles changing on Saturday, to be frank. But at the same time, it's going to build the hype for the Rumble the next week. So it just kind of makes sense. And I've been enjoying the show a lot. Just so everyone knows, I actually really have been enjoying the last few weeks. First of all, hanging out with you, Ashton, has been fun. We're having a good time here. We got camaraderie. It's enjoyable both to do and to watch, I feel. And I'm not regretting coming back to doing pro wrestling commentary, which was something I was worried. Oh, no, what if I start and I hate it, right? And I'm not. I'm enjoying my time here. And I hope that everyone is liking the show. The production qualities will improve once we figure this shit out. And we'll get there. All right, so I think next week will be a good one. And by the way, next week we'll try for Tuesday again. Sadly, this week with the stupid internet being out, we had to do it today on Wednesday. I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it, that it was on a different day this week as well. But we'll try to go Tuesday right after Raw on Monday night. And by the way, that's going to be the big show, Hype and Royal Rumble. So it should be an interesting one for sure. So.
All right, we'll see you next week. Peace.
Later, everybody. Thanks a lot.
First match, the official release of Doom 2016. Have to make that clear. The shotgun is ridiculously overpowered. Fucking shotgun, man. It's such a noob gun, too. Noobs with shotguns. Drop the beat. Noobs with shotguns. What the fuck? Oh, look, another shotgun. Noobs with shotguns. Another shotgun dead. Noobs with shotguns. Again, a shotgun. What a surprise. Noobs with shotguns. Fucking shotgun that, motherfucker. Double kill.